School Pokemon here, back again with the PokeFlipz podcast, joined by my usual co-host, KetchumAllCollectibles, Dan. How are we doing today, Dan?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. This is a weird week. I did. You texted me the other day saying PokeFlipz tomorrow. And I was fully thinking that yesterday was Tuesday, and we had an extra day before we went live. So I was home on vacation. I got back Tuesday morning, so I've been like a day behind this entire week. I hate it.
Yeah, my internal clock calendar is quite off myself. I started the month in Canada, the follow up to Cleveland Collecticon. And then I had like less than a full work week. And then I jumped into New Jersey. I did extracurriculars down in Wildwood, all that stuff. I haven't had a full work week since the middle of June. And I don't know when my next one is. This one was like going to be, but then I have some projects planned around the house. And my dad called me up 2 days ago and he's like, hey, we're going to be over to your house tomorrow. We're tearing off the deck. We're working on the siding, some things on the roof. So I was giving them a hand all this morning, most of yesterday. So I've just had a choppy week again, not getting a whole lot done. And then next week, we actually have a Cub Scout event thing at a local beach, like park near us. And that's Pokemon themed. It's a Pokemon themed like Cub Scout camp thing. So that's exciting. Monday through Wednesday. Yeah, Monday through Wednesday, like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., I think, till 2 p.m. or so. I'm going to be doing that. So it's going to be another. I won't have worked a full week in July at all.
That is nice.
August,
that is nice. Gotta take some time off. Gotta take some time off.
August, we're looking at Collecticon Charlotte, and we've got a couple other little trips going on. The summer is just flying by. It's crazy.
To be in basically August already is wild.
I know. It's insane. Yeah. Vacation in this market, you're both slacking. I'm going to call you James. Yeah. I mean, James took a month off and he came back and things are rocketing even harder than they were before he left. It's crazy.
It's wild. It's wild.
But yeah, with that, this is the PokeFlipz podcast. As always, feel free to leave your questions in chat. I will star them as we go. We will be hanging out till approximately 4. There's a chance my dad calls me and needs a hand with something, so I might have to duck out for a minute. He's going to be tearing off the deck starting in the next hour or so, I think. But probably wrap by like 4 today. We didn't talk pre-live, but probably about 4 p.m. So you've got us for a solid 2.5 hours. So hit us with your questions, and we will get you through your afternoon.
There we go.
And
here's
we've got one right here out of the gate from Anti-Shillator. I did see this in Discord early this morning. Well, with Paldea Evolved getting a possible reprint, is it a good time to unload loose packs and booster bundles and keep the booster boxes / buy more if they come? Did you see this? Did you see it? I think the source for it was what's that one restock Discord that's like a paid service? PokeNotify.
Okay.
I think PokeNotify posted this. I have seen people confidently talking about it that it's true, and I've already seen some YouTube videos in my recommended feed. I didn't watch them, but I've already seen like people assuming it's true, assuming it's happening. You've got people like panic on setting among some investors, maybe not. You've got some people ready to be like, haha, I told you so. I told you it was going to go under MSRP again. But then I have people that I see that it's been confirmed debunked. Like I have no idea. I don't frankly care that much. It's like if and when it happens, I'll buy more Paldea Evolved. I have a hard time believing that it will be massive enough to like cause any major changes. But yeah, I laid the groundwork there. Did you hear about it? Do you have any thoughts on it? And then I'll follow up with more.
No, I didn't hear anything about it. That's all I got.
You got a Discord now, right?
I do. Yes, I'm on Discord now. It's very strange, very strange. But no, I still hate Discord. Discord is I don't know how you guys are on Discord. It's so
Join my Discord. It sucks. It's a terrible platform app, but join my Discord. Speaking of that, I was actually looking for your link recently. Where do you keep your link for that?
It's a secret Discord. So you gotta know someone.
Your website is a ghost town. It's not in your link tree. Your website shows like mine is the same. It's a Shopify website that sells nothing, but I removed like all the listings. Yours has like listing title. It has placeholder like titles and prices. And man, you got to clean that up some. Clean that up and throw a link to your Discord on there.
I gotta do that. But no, I did not hear about this. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. I would find it very hard to believe. I would find it super hard to believe. There we go. We got Walrus link in the Discord. Join the Discord
joining right now. I'm joining as we speak.
I would find this reprint hard to believe, and if anything, it reminds me of the what set was that? People were talking about, oh, we're gonna get this massive reprint, Paldea, Obsidian, all these sets, and we ended up getting like 2 boxes of Surging Sparks. It was literally nothing. Or so I forget what set. I think it was Surging Sparks. I forget exactly. But it was literally a nothing reprint, and people made this massive deal about it. People were again talking about should I sell everything and just buy it back cheaper? I would not recommend. I would just hold on to what you have.
Yeah, and
or if you do want to sell it, just expect to sell it and not get it back at this point.
You had a good lead into exactly what I was going to say. Generally speaking, the frictional fees in Pokemon are very, very high relative to something like stocks or Bitcoin. I'm not saying that you should do this, but if you have some idea that you think Bitcoin is going to fall 5% or Apple is going to fall 5% and you want to like make a play on that, not advocating for it, but theoretically, you could dump all your Bitcoin. You could dump $1 million worth of Bitcoin. And then if it falls 5%, you can buy all that back. And you can you would have made a lot of money doing that. You would have made 5%. You would have made 50 grand, right? Or you would have had that much more Bitcoin, whichever way you go with it. With Pokemon, though, it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to Paldea Evolved. I mean, I guess if you're selling above $1,000, I'm not affiliated with them whatsoever, but I am a happy customer. Probes team. You could auction 1,000 loose packs and you could net 95% minus shipping, minus like they charge some other fees. But the frictional fees are like that full 5%, if not slightly higher, if there's any tax implications. It's like unless the market price drops 20+%, you're probably not going to be able to buy back in and have gained anything. So me personally, like all my Paldea Evolved booster cases are already on the pallets. They're already locked away for years. I'm not nervous about it. I'm not changing anything. Whether or not the leak or the PokeNotify post was valid, it talked about like big box stores, I think, which isn't going to be your booster boxes. And that's why the question came in. I should put it back on screen. Loose packs, booster bundles. It's just not something I generally do. It's not something I generally do. Now, if something else was changing, if I got an email from my distro that says, hey Dan, do you want 240 boxes, 240 booster boxes of Paldea Evolved? I would do 2 things. I would say yes, and I would panic sell everything else I have, knowing that I was getting 40 cases coming in. So that's a whole different scenario. I don't believe that's happening. But I guess stay tuned in a couple of weeks. If that email happens between now and the next PokeFlipz episode, I'll definitely let you know. But I don't think that's what's happening.
I can't. Why Paldea? Of all sets they could reprint, why go back? When did Paldea come out? That was I don't even know.
Over 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, it would have been like April or May 2023, I believe, was Scarlet and Violet base. So it's just about 2 years ago now. I'll double check to get the actual, but it should be just over 2 years old at this point.
Yeah, because 151 is September. So that would
June
make
9th,
sense.
2023. June 9th, 2023. So yeah, we just crossed 2 years, which doesn't mean, not saying that it can't be reprinted. Absolutely, if Pokemon wanted to. Why would they want to? I don't know. Because Paldea Evolved for the first 12 to 18 months of Paldea Evolved's existence, it was widely available. And then it actually got a relatively substantial reprint back in. I remember picking them back up at $120 a box a little under a year ago, 8-10 months ago maybe, if my memory serves me right. And so yeah, it was widely available under MSRP. Not only under MSRP, but it was under $100 probably for almost a year. So in my opinion, at least, it's like, check mark. They did their job. They distributed that widely, got it into everyone's hands. I'm still kind of shocked how much 151 they're doing. I think they should work more on Destin, work more on Prismatic, work more on these new sets that have never been under MSRP. But clearly, I'm just some guy who doesn't know nearly as much as what they know, and they're like, I trust them. I trust them to do the right things. Absolutely, they've been through a lot more. They've been around the industry a lot more than I have. So whatever they're doing is probably reasonable.
Yeah, we were talking about it in the live last night. I was doing $100 booster boxes on release night up until Stellar Crown. So Surging Sparks was the first one that I went over $100. But every other Scarlet and Violet set, release night, $100 booster boxes, ripped or shipped. Which looking back is wild, but
I know you were
paying. Back then it wasn't that good of a deal. They were like 105 on eBay. Some of them were
92, 93, right?
Yeah.
Crazy. Good margins. But yeah, and if packs do come out, let me look right now quick. I don't know what like the pack to box ratio is right now. So per my spreadsheet, which can be off a little bit, 890 for loose packs. Holy crap, that's nuts. And then if you buy by the box, it's $360 for a box. So basically $10 a pack. So there's only like an 11% ish premium on the boxes. Yeah, moral of the story, like, we rip a lot of it for the streams. I will be glad, I will be happy if this is real. If a bunch are coming through Walmart, I'll actually use that time. I'll put it on my hot buy list. I'll wait for the price to come down 10, 20%, whatever it might come down. I'll put it on my hot buy list at 80, 85%, and I'll try to stock up 6,000, 8,000 packs of it, because it is one of the top 5 packs that we've ripped this year. It's been a popular one for sure.
Oh yeah. Paldea is always going to be popular. It's a fun set. It is a fun set.
So here's what the experience share says with an update. Paldea is most likely not getting any sort of a significant reprint. Probably no reprint at all. One video went up blowing the small sleeve booster restock Best Buy got out of proportion. That's not surprising to hear. That's just kind of like the environment that we're in. People need to be, and this is the same way with like the mainstream media. It's kind of crazy when something like big and notable happens. People prioritize being the first to the market with that YouTube video to get all the clicks, farm all the affiliate links, whatever they're trying to do. And it's not even a secondary thing. Like the truth and facts are not primary. They're not secondary. They're not even tertiary. It's all like, holy crap, I heard somewhere that Paldea Evolved got restocked. Somebody in Alaska walked into the local store and there was one blister of Paldea Evolved hanging on the thing. So like, let me pump out this video that's going to get 10,000 views within a day so that I can like that's all the stuff that comes first. The hype, the drama, the FOMO, the clicks, the affiliate, like, people just don't care about being correct. People just want the view, and it's great. I've never been one to do news type videos. I'm not in kind of any loop to where I'd get it early. But if and when I do it, I'm usually like a week or two late. All the clicks have come and gone. All the people have made their videos, and then I'm talking about it 2 weeks later by the time I get around to it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
But,
no, I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that.
Kiki Jiki says, Dan, I thought you said you went fishing in Canada, but I didn't see any fish in your vacation recaps. So I do my hot buy list. Hey, it's called fishing for a reason. If you always caught stuff, it would be called catching, right? But no, I didn't literally go fishing. So I do my hot buy list every Monday. But when I'm on vacation, I put up a hot buy list that just says gone fishing. And I put like, hey, I'm not buying anything this week because I'm on vacation. Gone fishing is often not literally I'm gone fishing. I'm just the whole fisherman meme thing. So yeah, I didn't literally go fishing. I haven't gone fishing that much this year. Where did we go? I can't remember. Oh yeah, I went on one of our Cub Scout trips, and then I went at a park local to me another time too. Not too much fishing though. I need to get back to it more.
I haven't been in forever. It's been way too long.
How is it in Massachusetts? I'm assuming there's like a licensing requirement.
Oh, that was a big thing a few years ago. Because back, I forget exactly when, but when I was growing up, you needed a fishing license to do like freshwater in the lakes and stuff. But you never needed one for the ocean. And a few years ago, they made it so you need it for lakes and the ocean. And that was a huge thing. People were making such a big deal, and it's stupid because like a fishing license, it's like $20 for the year. It's like nothing, and people were making this huge deal about it. It was wild.
Yeah, so in New York, it's like if you're under 16, you don't need one. Anyone under 16 can just fish for free. I remember when I was younger, it was like when I was 5 to 10, I wasn't buying them because I was under 16. But I feel like I remember older cousins, my dad, whoever. I feel like it was $5 or $10 when I was like 5 or 10. It was relatively cheap. And then by the time I got to be like 20, it was like $30. But at one point in my teens, I actually spent like $700 and I bought my lifetime super sportsman license, which 1 year of it is like $70-$80 because that includes your deer tags. If you go turkey, if you go all the licensing for all the different hunting. So I have a lifetime super sportsman license in New York. I've had it for the past 20 years and I barely use it these days. It's like it would have paid itself off multiple times had I actually done much fishing, hunting, anything like that. But I hopefully I've got a good 50 years to go. Hopefully I can continue to reap the benefits of that. We'll see though, I guess.
There we go.
2 new members to your Discord, Dan and PK. The podcast shout out is paying dividends already. I mean, you got two of your competition in there to
yeah, that's the only reason you guys are in there. You want to scope out the competition. You don't have a Discord, do you?
I have the one for the Patreon, but I don't have one. I see you have the same like setup. I joined Cardinals recently. I joined those because you gotta keep an eye on the competition. Keep your friends close, enemies closer, that whole thing.
Which bucket do I fall into?
A little bit of both. So I got to keep you super close. But it looks like you guys had the same people set it up, or at least you're using the same bot or whatever, because it kind of had the same like look and feel when I joined it, which is a lot more fancy than what we have for the Pokenomics one.
Let's not say we had the same person set it up. They have an amateur Legend of Luke over there. We've got a pro hive mind. So
man, shots fired.
If Legend of Luke watches, I'm kidding. I love you too.
Let's not kid ourselves. Nobody watches.
Well, I was scared for the first like 5 minutes. We had like 10 viewers in here. Now we have more.
That's what we get for chatting so much before we go live and being 5 minutes late.
That's true.
So I have a lot of questions started. We'll start working through them. What do you think of XYEX cards, standard hits suddenly going up, i.e. Gengar EX from Phantom Forces selling for $500 in PSA 10? That's just the plain EX. I want to say that plain EX had a tin or a collection box print at one point. I could be wrong, but I remember having a lot of those. I remember having a lot of those when they were like $3-4. I was probably selling them for $2.99, $3.99 shipped on eBay back in the day.
I honestly think it makes sense. It's XY. The end of XY was 2016, so long ago. And those cards are not easy to get 10s out of. The print quality in XY was terrible. So I can see it making sense.
And confirm Costco collection boxes for $8.99. I felt like I had a bunch of them at one point. The Gengar EX. I think it's 34 out of 119, right? Phantom Forces is like I kick myself for not having a box. At this point, I'll probably never have one. They're over $10,000 they're transacting for apparently. But that's the first set I opened when I got back in. I remember buying on Potomac Distribution, I believe was the website. I bought a case. It had distribution in the name, so I thought it was like a distributor. I thought I was buying. I think I paid like $5.90 or something for a case of 6 Phantom Forces boxes, and I ripped the whole case. That was like me getting back into the hobby. Very shortly after I got actual distribution, I got into 2 distributors, and I bought more of it. I ripped more of it. I liked Phantom Forces a lot, and yeah, man, not having a single box anymore these days. It's an unfortunate thing.
That's wild. When you got back in, you went right to modern. I wasn't even into modern. I think I started with evolutions. So Phantom Forces, I was still in WotC back then. So that's wild. You got right back into into modern.
Yep, I went like a 2-pronged approach. So I started like I got right back into modern, but I was also buying $300 base set first edition German boxes. I was buying $300-400 Fossil Jungle first edition booster boxes. So I started at the ends and I worked to the middle. Some of the last boxes that I bought to my original goal as the big collector that I am, Nick, going back to your Instagram story, the big collector that I am, I opened every box. And I remember I was doing the WotC ones. I was doing the XY ones, the black and white ones. A lot of the last ones that I did were Call of Legends, your Diamond and Pearls, your Heart Gold Soul Silvers, your EX eras. I did a lot of those last because I was kind of, it was like WotC was around and it felt reasonable for what it was. It's like, let me buy these first edition boxes for $300-400. Base set unlimited at the time was like $600-700. And then they were just ubiquitous. They were kind of around. They were plentiful. EX boxes, even then, were few and far between. I want to say when I bought my Deoxys box, when I bought my Unseen Forces box, when I bought those boxes to open, I was buying like the first public auction in several months, if not over a year. Like they were scarce to see even at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy to reflect back. It's crazy. Like,
oh, it really is. It's wild to think back on the pricing.
That was why I started. Like, I got into distro, and I remember Matt L having like Heart Gold Soul Silver triumphant blisters, and I remember having them having some black and white era booster boxes. I was buying like through distro. I think Flashfire was only like 2 sets old at the time. That was hard to get through distro, but I remember I went back and I got Furious Fists, and I got XY Base, and I think Legendary Treasures was there, maybe at a slightly higher price. But that's kind of why I came from both ends, because those boxes were the most widely available, and then the middle ones were a lot tougher.
Yeah.
Which is still true today, and I think will be true for a long time, if not always.
Yeah, I think it'll always be true.
So yeah, I ranted and rambled a lot about a lot of different things there. I didn't really answer, what do I think about them going up? I think Gengar EX, plain old EX for 500, I think that's kind of a lot. I'm not a buyer of that at all. I would be a seller of that. I would have been a seller of that way lower than 500. But relative to other things, I think that's not the craziest thing in the hobby right now. I don't think that's the most overvalued thing. I think it's overvalued relative to a lot. I'd rather give me any Sword Shield booster box that's under 500. Give me $500 worth of Scarlet Violet Sealed. Give me almost anything else. If we're talking like speculating investing over the long term. But
I don't know what like would you rather have? You could have two of those Gengars, or one stupid 151 Charizard.
I don't want either.
Oh, you gotta pick one.
If I have to pick one,
you got a gun to your head. Which one are you picking?
I don't want either at all. Maybe
That's easy. The Charizard is so stupid. It's such an ugly card.
So you picked the two Gengars by like a landslide?
100%.
If we're talking like I have to collector boy it for the rest of my life, give me the Charizard. If we're talking value, I'm allowed to sell it 5 years from now. Honestly, I lean slightly Charizard. I think the Charizard will be worth more in 5 years than two of those Gengars. I could be entirely wrong though. Like I'm not holding that I'm not going to die on that hill.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're relatively close as far as, but again, it depends on what the question is. You could ask 5 different questions about like, can I sell it tomorrow? Give me the Charizard. Give me, well, if I have to sell it in a month, maybe give me the Gengars because I feel like they could have room to go up a little bit more in this insanity. But why are they going up the way that they are? Probably because Megas are coming back. Probably because Mega Gengar is going to be coming back. People get nostalgic. Or maybe not even nostalgic. A lot of people weren't here for that. But they see that Megas are coming back. They see that these things are coming back, so they go and they buy them. I don't really spec on that kind of stuff. But I remember hearing in the past year, like people talking about specking on Rocket for Destined Rivals, people specking on Megas. People have done well. People have done really well with that, clearly, in hindsight. But I didn't really partake. He said it's selling above what Charizard VMAX, Champion's Path, and Shiny Charizard VMAX, Shining Fates are going for combined.
That makes perfect sense. Those are
I feel like those cards. There's a lot more of those cards. There's a lot more of the Charizard VMAX and Shiny Charizard VMAX. But I just, frankly, there's not many slabs that I like ever. And especially in the midst of this like crazy boom that we're in, there's just not many slabs that I would opt to hold on to. And talk versus walk, I have almost no slabs. I sell them all. I put them in plastic and then I sell them to the end consumer. I am not the end consumer for plastic. Let's see. So, this is back to the Paldea Evolved thing. Distribution is going to charge $300 a box for it. If and when they come through distro booster boxes, they probably would. It's all a quantity thing. Again, if they had 400, like if they had 40 cases to allocate to me, it would be like somewhat of a race to the bottom. And like distributors have a lot more information than we have. If distros somehow, I don't think this happens because I don't think print capacity exists to have made this happen. If somehow, somewhere, the head of Mad Al, GTS Southern, Peach State, if one of them got a notice from Pokemon, hey, in the next 6 months, we're going to hit you with 100,000, or I don't even know what a big number is. We're going to hit you with 500,000 boxes each of every set from SV2 to current, as well as we're going to double the capacity for all of this mega era. That's not a thing. But like if that was a thing, the prices would be a lot less than 300. If they get 1,000 boxes and they have to distribute it between their 200 accounts, and on average people are going to get less than a case, absolutely. It'll be 300 a box, 320 a box. They'll charge as much as they can to get rid of it all. That's what they've been doing. I actually just bought through one of my distros. I bought 3 boxes of Destined Rivals at $250 a box. Was that a slight reprint? Was that a restock that Pokemon found a random thing? Did my distributor find a random pallet they lost in the back of their warehouse? I have no clue. But like they offered me 3 boxes of Destined Rivals per week at $250. I bought them, trying to just inch the numbers up a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now.
I hate them. I don't go on the website, so I never see this stuff.
See, I'm in
Give me a
Discord.
rep and call me when you guys have stuff. It's so annoying.
Nick, they don't need to because it's all going to go. It's all going to go. They put it up there. It gets posted around a couple Discords,
To you
and then it ends
people
up
who have
gone.
nothing else to do during the day except for refresh the website.
Oh, man. I've got like a few people that will ping me. I try to check once a week. I try to check my distros once a week. Usually nothing comes up, but it takes 60 seconds. It takes less than that if I have a browser already open that I just refresh, and I only usually restart my computer once every couple of weeks. So I have the tabs open every Monday. I refresh them. Sometimes they pop up on a Wednesday. I got a couple people that DM me, hey, go check this distro has this. I try to share the love. Like if I'm refreshing on Monday and I see something and they haven't messaged me yet, I'm like, hey, go check this. So, but it's like it's crumbs. It's crumbs and it's at a high price.
Nice to be shared in those DMs. Thanks.
That's the thing. I know you're not in Discord. You're not sending any to me, so I'm not sending any to you.
Hey, I gave you your next. Well, it's going to be your first L in a long time, judging by the ones I've gone through. But
I know
it would have been your next Gray Felt Hat Pikachu play.
Gray Felt Hat 2.0 is underway, but this will be the one that might bankrupt KetchumAllCollectibles Incorporated. Nick gave me notice of this big play being there, and I bought a lot of them. I didn't buy quite as many as Nick apparently, but I bought a lot of them, and I haven't yet pre-graded them, but they're all on my desk, and that will be a task for tomorrow, hopefully, or tonight.
Hey, that's my job for tomorrow. We're going to be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
What do you think? Like, are we in a bigger boom now than we were in 2020? Because, like, remember how in 2020 we got that massive box reprints? They did like Battle Styles, Chilling Reign, Fusion, all at the same time. What would happen if we got that with Scarlet and Violet? Would it be the same thing where we saw $80 booster boxes? I don't think so. I think pricing would go down. We would not see that kind of drop though.
I don't think in a one shot it will be that way. I think what needs to happen, Rudy's been talking about this in some of his videos, like things need to go under MSRP. Once things go under MSRP, some of the pressure starts to like resolve itself. Once they go under MSRP, Target restocks won't get botted. Walmart restocks won't get botted. So like some amount of consumers will be able to go to their local stores. They'll be able to go on Target.com and pay MSRP that they've been asking for, crying for, to be a bit more inflammatory. And then the next phase is, I think this will happen, but maybe it won't. I think they'll get some boxes under 100 to where like people, maybe it won't sit at distro. It'll be a while till things sit at distro, I think, at least 6 months probably. But if P Football Pete is doing $99.99 shipped, or even $119.99 shipped on eBay, when P Football Pete is doing $119.99 shipped on eBay, I can't really buy that for $100 and then sell on eBay and make any money. I can't compete with that. He's got lower pricing from his distro. He's got lower fees with eBay. He's got negotiated rates with USPS, like PK has said before. So it won't really make it sit at distro at that point. Your Hills, your P Football Pete's, those guys will be gobbling it all up. And then maybe some of the more savvy people like you and me, or maybe the dumb people like you and me, if the market goes the other way, but we'll be buying it to sit on it, even though we can't make margin at that point. A lot of people say they'll do that. How many people will actually do that if and when the time comes? But that's going to be a process. The first big barrier is MSRP. Once they get under that, that helps. That helps a little bit because the botters go away, at least on those products. And we'll see what happens. I'm excited to follow along and see, but I have no clue.
Yeah, it'll be. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that day.
Me too. I'm very ready for like just being able to buy what I need for the streams. Right now, it's kind of like a battle. I'm buying from scalpers and botters, and it would be nicer and cleaner. Even if it's, I would pay a 5 or 10% premium to just be able to click a couple buttons and get it all from my distro in booster cases. It's more
exactly.
tedious. It's more tedious to buy things a couple hundred packs at a time. If I could buy 4 cases at a time, 4 case clips of like this and that, and I think we'll get back there. Some people think in the next 50 years that'll never happen again. I have a hard time coming to terms with that, but maybe I'm the one that's wrong. Was Blooming Waters the last we'll see of 151 at MSRP?
I think we're getting close.
It's 2 years old in September 22nd. So it is 22 months old. No idea. Crown was January 20th, 2023, and Sea and Skies were pumping through Costco up until 25, 26 months later. So does Pokemon care? Do they have like a set distribution plan of 24 months, 25 months after release? We have to do 100,000 more Blooming Waters or 1 million more, 2 million more Blooming Waters through Costco. I don't know, but like timing wise, they did it with Crown, so they could do that with Blooming too. It'll be botted. People will be fighting. Like I can't guarantee it, but I have a strong suspicion that 151 won't be going significantly under $10 anytime between now and its final print run. I have a hard time believing that would happen. Not to say it couldn't, but I would buy many thousands more. I think Nick would probably buy many thousands more if it got to 9, 8, 7. Like there'd just be so much more additional pressure as it came down, unless simultaneously Destined is being offered by the dozens of cases from your distro. Like if a lot of things hit you at once, it's going to spread your money thin. But right now, the way that I think it will unfurl is I think most/many sets from the Mega era will be under $200 at launch. I don't know about you, Nick, but like I just got numbers from one distro on the Mega set, and I had gotten from this distro. Let me just Google it quick, let me check my email quick so I don't misspeak.
You already got your finalized numbers?
It's not final. He's like, this is what it's at. It won't go lower, but I'm gonna try to get you more. Whether he'll actually try to get me more, I don't know. But let me see if I can find quickly what I got from.
I'm gonna see if I have anything too. I don't think like pre-orders aren't even due until I think they're due today or tomorrow. Let's see.
So from this distro, I got at first launch. It's not much. So I got 86 of Destined. I got 90 of Mega Sets. Ooh. So for some reason, I thought I had gotten like 72. That's why I checked before I said it, because I thought it was like a 20% increase. Yeah, it's not even a 10% increase. I went from 86 to 90 of the Mega Set. He said it might be higher though. He said 90 is where it's at. He said that it's unlikely, but like some people might decline. Some people might not take their whole allocation. Feels like it would be hard to believe, but
there's no shot anyone. You'd have to be an idiot.
Don't crush my hopes and dreams. Come on, Nick. But yeah, Blooming at MSRP, you just can't really know. If and when it does hit more, it'll probably be botted. The day that Target drops booster bundle cases, the day that these websites drop, I get DMs from the same people on Instagram. Hey, do you want any 151? I have 12,000 packs. Hey, do you want this? I get that every time. It is what it is. They're not breaking any laws. They're not stealing the product. They are adult people buying the product, and the retailer is fulfilling their order, and then I'm buying the product from them to sell to my customers who buy the product from me. It is what it is. Not my favorite, but yeah, that's good luck fighting the boss. They seem to be well organized and well strategized for when those drops hit.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm ready. I can't wait. I hate it. It's so annoying.
Anti-Shillator said Walmart just dropped 2-pack 151 booster bundles for under MSRP, $49.99. That's mind-blowing to me. Yeah, that's under $5 a pack.
That on Instagram. I saw a story about that right before we went live, actually. Yeah, that's wild.
I guess I'm gonna have some DMs. I might be buying another few thousand 151 packs at $9 a pack, probably. Why they're doing that more and more and more, just like, in my opinion, and I don't even have as much 151 as I'd like to have. It's just like, let that go and start working on prismatic. I think I will be right every time I say in a video that I think prismatic will go under MSRP, or on Instagram or in a YouTube comment section. I get a lot of people replying to me, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. This guy's so wrong. The more time they spend on 151, the more risk I end up being wrong. But like, I'm quite confident I'll be right. Look at how much 151 they're putting out. It's 2 years old. It's 151. I don't think they're going to be able to get that back down under MSRP. So it's like, Pokemon, if you're out there listening, please do that with prismatic more and more and more. It's like they did get ETBs under 100 for a short bit there, and then it went up. If all these waves that are 151 today were prismatic ETBs might be 80. They might be 75. They might be headed down towards MSRP if all that product was prismatic instead of 151.
I don't know. Singles and prismatic are still wild prices. I don't know if it could. They'd have to print a lot of it for it to go down to MSRP.
B Football Pete is not a distro. He buys from distro. He's a retailer on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a website you can look up, Google Pokemon official distributors, and you can see a full list of every phone number, Madal, GTS, ACD, Alliance, Gold River, Square Root, Sweet Deal, Peach State. You can see literally they don't hide it. You can see every single official distributor of Pokemon, and it's a list of like 20 something maybe.
Yeah.
But I remember back in 2014, Potomac Distribution is the website. Like, it's got distribution right in the thing. Like, this must be the distribution people are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought a case for like $590 or $5. I don't remember exactly. Maybe it was even $500. Maybe it was less. But I remember I bought it, thought it was great. I think I had my sales tax set up that thing all with I don't know, whatever the case may be. But not too long after, I got in with distro. And then I was buying stuff for $82 a box, sometimes as low as $79 a box back in the day. Gackle wants to know, any thoughts on older Blackstar promos going crazy lately, especially low pop ones like Armored Mewtwo, $6,500. Are people who joined hobby last 10 months starting to graduate back into older eras? It's funny because, like, so much of what people say and so much of what has been like ubiquitous in the Pokemon and the YouTube space, pop doesn't matter. Why is Armored Mewtwo $6,500? Is that pop mattering? I'm pretty sure that's pop mattering.
But then look at the Pikachu and Greyfeld hat. Does that pop matter?
Yes, because if it was 10,000 instead of 40,000, it would be a $5,000 card. Maybe it would be more.
I don't know. It's the highest pop card, and it's still going up in value.
But it would be more if the pop was lower. It would be less if the pop was higher. Like if the pop was 6 billion, I promise you, if the pop was 6 billion, everyone on the planet could have one. Some people would want to have 1,000 still. That card would be under $50 if the pop was 6 billion. I promise. I guarantee that. G word, guarantee. If the Greyfelt hat pop ever goes above 6 billion, that card will be under $50, guaranteed. But again, if I had that slab, I would have sold it when I did sell it. I remember grading some of those. I opened dozens of those tins, maybe 100 plus of those tins. They were hard to grade. I probably only graded a handful. I definitely graded a couple tens. I probably sold them for a couple $100, a few $100 years ago. And I was happy to take that. And if I, for some reason, had lost one, if I find one here on the corner of my shelf, I'm going to sell it for $6,500. I would have sold it for $2,000. I would have sold it for $1,000. I would have sold it like every path along the way. Are you buying these? Are you holding at $6,500? Are you investing for $50,000 or?
No, but I don't like those. I don't like the card. It's the yellow, the Japanese. That's one case where the Japanese look so much better with the silver borders. The yellow border, it doesn't look right. But yeah, it is an incredibly hard card to grade for sure. I remember buying some of the tins. I don't think I had any gradable copies in the ones I bought. But yeah, that one in particular is surprising to me.
My memory is honestly not good enough to say, and I don't actually care that much. But it feels to me like there are definitely some people who in the past have said pops don't matter that are talking about like speculating in these low pop black white era full arts, these low pop XY era things. And like, I feel like there's some of that going on. People who would have said this before, now they're like dabbling in some of the low pop mid era, late mid era, or like, I don't know what you call XY era at this point. Is it vintage? Is it more vintage modern? Is it, I don't know what you call it. It feels weird because I was here. I was allocated all these boxes. Oh, not even allocated. I was buying all these boxes. That was when you could just buy. It's like, how many do you want? Hey, Dan, Roaring Skies is coming out. How many do you want? I'll take 6 cases. And then I bought 2 cases 2 months later, and I bought 4 more cases 6 months later, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But yeah, the final portion of that question, are people who joined the hobby last 10 months starting to graduate back into older eras? That's a thing that happens. Like the way that it works is like a funnel to some extent. Not everyone will make it down to the bottom of the funnel. Again, when I started, I was at the top of the funnel. I bought a case of Phantom Forces and I ripped it. And so the top of the funnel is like base set WotC. It's like the earliest stuff and the latest stuff. Top of the funnel is your Prismatic Evolutions, your Destined Rivals. And if people get like into it and they start having fun and enjoying it, maybe they learn about Bulbapedia, maybe they learn about PokeBeach, maybe they watch a couple PokeTube videos. People work their way down into the more niche stuff. And if they get all the way down to the bottom of the funnel, that's where I ended up. Collector Boy Dan made it all the way down to the bottom. I ascended the summit on everything I wanted to do in English. I was starting to get into Japanese promos, trophies, things like that. Not everyone makes it down there. Most people, like Rudy says all the time, most people are in and out within 6 months, if not 3 to 6 months. Most people are in and out and they're done. They might buy a couple of packs on the Walmart shelf. They might buy a couple packs here or there. But I've been here 11 years without leaving. Nick's been here longer than that without leaving. So we've explored every portion of the funnel, and we're not everyone's gonna make it there.
No.
Here we go. Krabby's Card says, Nick, I asked Dan this on a live a few weeks ago. Have you had more fun in Pokemon as a collector or a full-time business?
Ooh, definitely a full-time business for sure. 100%. If I had to, I would easily give up collecting to do like the business stuff. And that's actually how I started. I started with the business stuff for years, and then got into collecting after that. But yeah, now even like nowadays, I do not spend much time looking at collection stuff, buying collection stuff. Every now and then I'll buy something, but it doesn't happen often. Whereas like the business, I'm doing something with that every single day. So I spend a lot more time with it, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it more too because there's more going on. Like you're buying collections, you're getting new collections in, you're sorting through collections, you're going live, selling cards, interacting with people. There's a lot more going on than just kind of sitting by yourself looking at your cards. So I do enjoy that. But I will say I went home this weekend, and because I still have my safe at my mom's house. And in the safe, I have all my theme deck cases, my booster packs, all that stuff. And so I went home this weekend and I was able to look through that, and that was actually a lot of fun because I hadn't seen any of that stuff in so long. So it was cool. It was cool to go through that. Got to go through all my Dansko albums, look at all my coins. So that was a good time. I did enjoy that. But overall, definitely the business.
Dansko albums, come on, Blue Whitman folder's a bust.
No, Dansko is so much better. I'm not you over there collecting circulated coins.
I actually most of my stuff was the blue Whitman folders, but then I did get into I used to buy from like Littleton, the Littleton
Oh,
coin company.
God, they're so
They're
expensive.
very expensive. See, I didn't buy coins from them though because they're very expensive. I got into where I like some of their supplies though. I had a lot of their.
They do have
I'm pretty
big
sure.
displays.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Littleton branded, like coin albums and stuff like that. But kind
Like
of
the green albums.
yeah, kind of like the Dansko ones, but green instead.
Yep.
But yeah, I remember at one point this like memory just hit me out of nowhere, just like memory unlocked. At one point, my mom, because I was getting into coins, she entered like a mail order thing with Littleton where they'd send you once a month, maybe they'd send you coins in the mail once a month to like look at, and then if you like there was a return label in case you wanted to send them back. It was some kind of a subscription thing where, and I remember at this point I was on eBay and it's like they say if I keep these they're going to charge me X amount. They're going to charge my mom X amount. And it's like, this is like 50% more to double what eBay has them for. So very quickly, I remember terminating that service that my mom had signed up for. Because it's like, I'm not going to keep any of these ever. They're insane. They send me like a BU Buffalo nickel for like $50. That it was probably polished and probably not even actually brilliant uncirculated. Crazy. But yeah. I think they're still around, aren't they?
Oh, they're massive still.
Crazy.
No, they're huge.
4.6 stars on Google.
Man, they just make it so easy. Because they are actually, I think they're actually good about grading. Like if you buy an uncirculated coin, it's gonna show up uncirculated. So they're good with that type of stuff, but they're just so expensive.
I love this. Right on their homepage, mystery classic US coin. Let me see if I can share this quick. Mystery classic US coin. I love like how the money allergy thing. It's not just in Pokemon. It is ubiquitous. Present, share screen, window. Here we go. So yeah, they have a lot of these. Like an Indian headset. An Indian headset is gonna be like a couple bucks. Like on average, they're probably going to obviously if you get what are the other pictures in here? Liberty nickels. I don't know what Liberty nickels go for in bulk. Mercury dimes though, a few bucks a piece. Like and they're selling them for $15.75 a piece.
Jesus.
Yeah, $15.75 a piece. It's crazy out here with the mystery products, but they have them because they sell. They probably sell 500 of those a day, and they're probably just printing money like crazy on it.
Oh, I can see it. I can definitely see it.
Here we go. On topic. What happened with the OSP mystery packs?
Walrus and I were actually just talking about this morning. That's funny. Alex, are you stalking me? Those are coming. Those are coming. After Charlotte, we'll have round one.
So we got that one. Power Playback Collectibles says Rudy recently did a video on how he doesn't see how XY sets are cheap relative to modern sets in comparison. Do you think he's right here, or do you think new collectors don't care as much? $12,000 Phantom Forces doesn't feel cheap, I don't think.
No.
Would you rather have one Phantom Forces or 10 cases of a Scarlet Violet era set? I'd pick 10 cases of any $200 booster box set. I'd take 10 cases of Battle Styles over a single Phantom Forces box. Will that pan out to actually get higher gains than one single box of Phantom Forces? I don't know, but I would lean towards quite heavily the 10 cases of a $200 box, personally. So
I don't see that. He thinks XY is cheap.
No, he says he doesn't see how XY sets Or wait, is he saying they're cheap, or he's saying he thinks they're not cheap?
Doesn't see how
I don't know.
It sounds like he's saying they are cheap compared to modern sets.
The wording is throwing me. How he doesn't see. Oh. So he's saying they are cheap. He doesn't understand why they are cheap.
Yeah.
I guess it depends. So are you talking Evolving Skies? I think like is Breakpoint cheap relative to Evolving Skies? I could say yes on that one. I could say, like, I don't even know what Breakpoint goes for. Maybe I'm off here, but I want to say Breakpoint wouldn't be much more than Evolving Skies, right? Evolving Skies is nearly 2K.
It's over 2,000.
Is it?
Yeah, I was looking up. I was doing that in the live last night, looking up random boxes, and yeah, no, it's finally over 2,000. There's not many listings below 2,500.
Like Steam Siege has 3 listings from $15.99.99. I just Googled what I TCG Player searched what I thought would be the cheapest, and like, do I want Steam Siege over Evolving Skies? Probably not. But do I want? And I looked up Breakpoint. Breakpoint, it lists a market price of less than 2,000, but low list is over 3,000. So like, I don't know what an accurate price on that would be.
I think Roaring Skies would be similar, because I think Roaring Skies is like 2,000 now.
I feel like I heard PokePlumber talking about it being 2,000, and then like shortly after that, it went towards 3,000. Maybe I'm wrong though. It's kind of painful. It's kind of painful deep down inside. These were the boxes that I had. I didn't have 40 cases of them or anything, but these are the boxes that I was buying. Like, I was there. I had distro. I was opening them by the case. As XY to current gets obscene in pricing, it's going to be more pain. But that's where recent sold. So 3,400 on Roaring Skies 3 days ago on eBay. 3,400.
That's wild.
I remember at the tail end of Troll and Toad Evo, I remember digging up some like random XY era loose boxes. I remember selling my last couple of Roaring Skies through Troll and Toad Evo. I want to say $500-600, and I thought I was like, man, this is awesome. This is crazy. I can't believe because I had like lost some boxes. I was going through random boxes. XY era, I feel like I could still have some somewhere. I feel like if I opened up the right cabinet, the right drawer, I feel like somewhere I could still have a Roaring Skies box. That's how new it is. That's how many of them I had. I would have just lost them somewhere. Obviously, I never would have done that with EX era, any of those eras, because like even at the time, like those were something special. But aside from the one, I'm gonna keep this one forever. Evolutions. Yeah. In memory of me paying off my house with Evolutions cases, I'm gonna keep that one box. Other than that, I have no XY era boxes, cases, anything. No Sun Moon era even. The pallets, I'm gonna try to hold tight to them as long as I can, because in 5-10 years I could see me saying, I can't believe what these Sword Shield boxes are doing. I can't believe this set is $3,000-4,000. I had so many of them. I had allocations. I had 40 cases of those at one point. Like, it's nuts. It's absolutely insane.
I'll be curious to see what you do with your palette. When is 5 years? 2030? Okay.
It was actually like 6 years from when I started. It was May 2024 when I started, and I said 2030. 2030, I'd look at them and I'd reevaluate, but I wouldn't touch them till then.
Okay. I'll be curious to see what you do. I will say you're helping me. You're helping motivate me not to sell my Sword Shield stuff. I'm holding strong with you. It's tough. It is very tough. Like Evolving Skies, it's so tough.
I have in my inbox right now, I've had multiple people this week, which is a little scary. I have one $150,000 collection of all Sword Shield cases. I have another one that's $200,000. I have two like not even just 100,000, even like 2 into the 6 figures, a little bit, collections, inventories, investments, whatever, that people that are looking for a cash out. And that would really push the liquidity. But I might take some of them. I might go for one of the two. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to lock all that away. I'd have to like quick flip a little bit of it, and then sit on only a portion. But it's that thing that I've been characterizing for the past year or so. It's the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. This stuff is being ripped like mad. And it was printed really heavily though as well. Which one's going to win out? I truly don't know. I truly don't know. At this point, like, how many more Evolving Skies boxes are being opened? Probably not that many. This is a timely time.
I think there's still cases every day.
It's relative. When I say not that many, like, it's definitely a lot less than it was when it was a $200, $300 booster box.
Yeah.
But here's the comment that I wanted to bring up. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but Gackle says, wonder if the same will happen to Sword and Shield sets. For example, Evolving Skies packs are currently going for $28, but they go for $60 inside the booster box. I mean, 60 is 18. 60 is like a $2,000 box, so maybe it's even closer to 70 now if the boxes are actually 2,300. But this is one thing that I've like definitely noticed. I'm buying Fusion Strike for $11, $12 on my hot buy list. That's like 90% of market. I'm not getting a whole lot coming in, but relative to the boxes, there's a reason they're on my buy list. They sell well on the streams relatively, and they feel quite undervalued. Like going back to like, do I want a $500 Gengar EX? Do I want $1,000? I want $1,000 in loose Fusion Strike packs that are untampered. I want my money in these Sword Shield era packs. I want my money in loose packs of 151 at $9 a pop. Like, those are the things that I'm actually buying right now. I'm not touching any slabs. There's no slab that I like relative to, and part of that is because I have the outlets to sell for slightly above market to the rips, like as a premium. But
I was gonna mention that. I wonder how much of it is because your business is so heavily reliant on
a decent portion of it
singles. Because, like, for me, yes, I'm buying sealed, but at the same time, I'm also buying singles to just set back in 5 rows for the streams in the long term. I would say it's probably like 75% sealed, 25% singles. So it's not a huge percentage, but it is a decent percentage.
One thing that I haven't done much historically, barring like Nagaba packs, I bought thousands of them. Sadly, I only have maybe 100 of them left, like the evolution ones. I bought 1,000 Gold Star Greninjas. This one, I didn't even target this card. I wasn't like specking on the card. I was buying loose Celebrations packs from the guy breaking down these tins, and he had tons of them, so I bought a bunch. I sent like this stack used to be like 5 times the size. I was just talking with Sky last night. We sold hundreds of these on TCG Player at like 85 cents a piece. This next batch that I'm sending to him, we're going to be selling for 10x that. We're going to be selling for $8, $9, $10 a piece. One thing that I haven't done that much, and I kind of consciously want to do it more in the future, and I guess if and when I do it, I'll talk about doing it. I want to fill 5 rows more with just when a promo of a popular species or even a set card, when a set card or a promo of a popular species gets down to $1 or $2. Hindsight's obvious, but it's like, why did I not stock more of those 151, the 3 promos from the 151 UPC? Why did I not stock more promos from the Charizard UPC? It was there. I had them. I have some, but I sold a lot. I sold a lot when they were a few dollars a piece. I was selling the 3 promos from 151 UPC for $19.99 shipped. I was actually selling them through a promoted listing. Some people were selling them for like $12.99 for the 3 promos from the 151 Mew UPC. It was crazy. That's not something I've ever done much, but with the streams, with the capital cash flow, with the stuff that I have, I probably should be doing that more. And is that what you're talking about? Are you talking about like targeted quantity on individual singles, or are you talking like I buy $5,000 worth of like random $2 to $20 singles and I stash them away just like in bulk mixed?
No, I'm not gonna do so like I'll either do depending on the card and how much I like it, I'll either do 10 copies or 25 copies. And it's just I'll go through when a new set comes out, I'll go through and pick out like I've been doing 5 illustration rares of every set. Five of the ones that I like the most. And I'll just buy 10 to 25 copies of that card. Set them back, and hopefully in a few years from now, I'll be able to bust out the first, like the Sword and Shield box, and have like good singles to run through the lives. I don't want to do massive quantity of the same card, just because it doesn't help me to have 1,000 copies of this one card that I'm running once a week for the next 100 years.
I mean, certain cards, I feel like that's not a bad play.
Certain cards like that, yes.
Hindsight is easy.
I'd rather have like be able to build a whole stream of these cards that I had set back for years.
And a lot of this you need to be careful because like Pokemon could start to fall out of favor. Pokemon, the hobby could like start to dwindle, could start to go down. A lot of people get like very overconfident in things. Like in hindsight, part of me is like, I like Greninja. He's one of my more favorite Pokemon. Maybe the edge of my top 10, somewhere in there. When it was $3, I bought like 500. When it went to $2, I bought like 500 more. When it was $1, I bought like a few more. I could have and should have just bought thousands. It's so easy to say today because like we're in a boom and it's way higher than it was. But like there are times in the history of the hobby where people have tried to do that. And then they got stuck with like 5,000 of one card. And for 5 years, it was flat or down. And only because Pokemon got significantly more popular are all these things doing what they're doing. Like sometimes, because it's done it once, people think it's just bound and guaranteed to do it again. Definitely not the case. But it absolutely might as well. Like if I can hold tight enough to my palettes of Sword, Shield, Scarlet, Violet cases, there's a scenario where in 10 years, XY era, Phantom Forces, 10, 11, 12 years old, there's a scenario, as crazy as it sounds, to some people it doesn't sound crazy at all. To some people think it's a certainty, which is scary. And then some people think it can't happen. Paldea Evolved could be $10,000 a box in 12 years. I don't think it will be. What would require that to happen is the hobby to grow as much between now and 10 years from now as it did between Phantom Force's release and today, which is a lot. Like it grew a lot in that time, but it could grow that much more. Will it actually do that? Again, some people are like forecasting everything as if that's a certainty. It's a possibility, absolutely, but it could also go back. And what will these things look like if and when we go back to where they're only printing 2 or 3 billion cards a year? Because that's all the demand is. Some people would say there's zero shot of that happening. I don't agree. I think there's a low likelihood of that happening, very low. But I'm not gonna bet the farm on it. I'm not gonna go bankrupt over making the wrong call on that, on leverage and whatever else may be. Got a couple other questions coming in. As always, feel free to leave your questions. We got Brad in here asking if OSP mystery packs are a real thing. We ranted about this 2 or 4 weeks ago. I have a to-do list on my desk that I still haven't done to calculate the EV of Milky Bags. Remember that?
Yes. Did you see the new? Have you seen the new one? That's the CGC, the world record break is what they're calling it. It's so the CGC did the big authentic world record submission or whatever grading. And so they made mystery boxes. It's the same as the Omegas. You get 5-10 slabs in a box. One of those slabs is going to be the world record break slab, and then the others are going to be a mixture of PSA and CGC. and going twice, and P Football Pete actually are selling those on eBay Live, and the whatever the MSRP is it's $220 for 5 slabs, but they'll do auctions of them too. And the auctions that I was seeing were the auctions that I saw, they were going for $70 to $120 for one individual card of the 5 from that box. And the cards inside are they're garbage. They're so bad.
It's master sets of everything, right? Like if you think about set composition, like base set unlimited should be included in that. But base set unlimited, there's 16 hollows, and then there's like all the non-hollows.
Yeah.
And base set unlimited is better than new sets because like new sets, you have a 300 card set, of which, sure, there's not only 16 hollows. There might be like 50 hollows and EXs and SIRs and whatever, maybe even more. But now there's like common reverse hollows and common uncommon reverse hollows and like regular hollows. And it's going to be like proportionally, percentage-wise, it's going to be relatively dark.
Yeah.
But it feeds into the whole, look at the thing I pulled up on Littleton. I'm sure the average value of those things is probably $3. People are probably paying 500% of market. There's no on that one to give a little bit of a benefit. Someone might get like a base Charizard, right? Someone might get like a Gold Star Rayquaza. It's probably in there somewhere. In this, they're not leaving 1916D Mercury Dimes. They're not leaving like Key Date.
No.
There's no upside. Your downside is like you lose 80% of your money, whereas with the Guinness thing, you probably only lose 70% of your money, and you also could like 1,000 extra money or 100 extra money or something. It is what it is, right? BUY or BYE, let the buyer beware. Personal responsibility, all the things we always say. Yeah, I don't know what more to say than that. But one thing I'll use this time to pump a thing that Fanatics has going on right now, which I'm actually really excited to get a hold of. Meaty bags, milky bags, Squirtle sacks, whatever they're going to be called. Fanatics has a really cool mechanism. So one of the big things that comes up with mystery products is trust. And actually, I can turn this into like a whole 15-minute, 20-minute segment probably. Did you see the new news? Neo Cards and Comics made a video. PSA is doing this third-party mystery pack verification where, like, say that Old School Pokemon, say that you wanted to run a mystery product, Squirtle Sacks. You say, hey, Mr. Nat Turner, I have 10,000 items that I want to send in for my Squirtle Sacks. I'm going to send them to you, and you're going to send them back to me after you. And they go through, they scan them, they create a checklist, they do floor, ceiling, average, all that stuff. And then it's like with the Omega Mystery, it's like, oh, well, did this person feed it to a streamer that he's friends with? This, that, and the other thing. PSA is like taking out that question. They're adding in the third-party trust. And then I'm going to use that to pivot into. So that's something that just launched. I think they're doing it with Sports Card Investor. Jeff Wilson, I believe, is his name. So that's something going on over in the sports side. I'm sure. I remember Neo. Shout out to Neo Cards and Comics. He also has a Neo Pokemon. I forget what his Pokemon channel is called, but I follow both. And GameStop, PSA, this whole repack thing, it's probably coming soon if it's not already underway. But instant rips. So Fanatics has a mechanism where I don't have access to it yet. I'm begging to get access as soon as possible. But Fanatics has instant rips, and how it works is they have a vault in Oregon where I have thousands of cards. I like not all mine and consigners cards constantly flowing through, but I can build a digital rip out of my vaulted cards. Vaulted cards all are tied to card letter values, PSA, CGC, BGS, whatever. And I could run a rip with PK or Ponga. PK's already done a couple that Fanatics curated the checklist on. But I could run a rip that's fully digitized. You don't have to wonder, did Dan actually put that Moonbreon in it that he said is in it? Did Dan put the base unlimited Charizard that he said is in it? You don't have to wonder because it's digitally done and verified. And I could create a mystery product of 100 listings, and I could have a full checklist, every card, every value, ceiling, floor, average, and full transparency. Like I'm a big full transparency guy. So this thing that Instant Rips has is awesome. And I'm sure PSA is doing it physically, tangibly, where like you physically send them the cards. I can almost guarantee PSA Vault is going to have an Instant Rips analog through eBay Live. Like Fanatics doesn't have it patented, or they probably have the name Instant Rips trademarked or whatever. So eBay Live probably can't use the Instant Rips name. But like coming to you in the next 2 years, probably, maybe even sooner, I would be shocked if eBay Live didn't coordinate something a la Instant Rips through the PSA Vault, because all that same stuff's there. Hopefully, being more a Fanatics guy, though I'm going to do eBay Live a little bit, hopefully it takes them forever. Hopefully it takes them 10 years, and I can just run all of that through Fanatics in the meantime. But it's I like the transparency. And going back to our debates, we had heated debates the last few episodes, I think, about like the Milky Bags a couple separate times. He's transparent. He shows it all. But the additional layer that Instant Rips provides is that I'm not mixing things up. PK Pong is not mixing things up. And you're not questioning like, oh, hey, Old School Pokemon hops into a PK stream and he buys a meaty bag and he hits the ceiling. There's no question in that because it's all randomized in the back end digitally with Fanatics. PK is not pulling and picking. It's all digital. It's all third-party, verified, trusted, which I love. I love the thought of.
Yeah. No, I think that's definitely the way to go. So with yours, it's you're not actually opening the product, right? It's all digital.
It's digital. So PK, like I've never even done it from the back end. I watched PK do it live, but he sells them. He sells, hey, we got 100 of these at $50 a pop, whatever it is. And he clicks a button and then it like opens it digitally. It shows up on screen. If it's like a ceiling, if it's a top chase or a ceiling, it gives you extra like animations, extra like they add some fun to it, I guess. But and then the card instantly goes into the Fanatics Vault. So it's a good way. It's a good way to tie. You get people from Fanatics Live to carry over to Fanatics Collect, and then another feature that they have is instant 90% buybacks. I think PSA already has this through Cardi, not Cardio, I believe it's called, or Card.io, whatever the hell it is. PSA also already has some kind of a partnership through a company that has digital rips like that, with a buyback number and this and that. But I would expect eBay Live to integrate that further and have some feature like that. But yeah, if they don't want the card, they could theoretically auction it. They could buy it now on their own Fanatics Collect account. They could take the 90% buyback and not even have to auction it. Whatever they want to do with it. Yeah. CS:GO cases are finally in Pokemon. We're there. And I guess it's interesting because it's like, how ubiquitous will that get in the future? I like the idea of not having to have so many touch points, not having to have the streamer physically pack and ship the slab. If a person hits a ceiling and they're like, oh, Dan, I made a bunch of money, I don't want it. They can get it bought back for 90% and they can go in and they can buy more. Maybe they can consign it with me and get 95% of a bigger number if it auctions for a bigger number. There's a lot there. There's a lot that could be done there.
Now, also, do they have like a list, and as stuff gets pulled, it gets crossed off? That's an interesting idea too. Kind of like a deal or no deal type thing. Like, can people see the list? So, like, as your floors get crossed out, your average value is going to increase.
I don't know if it's dynamic like that and live, but PK did say, so I was traveling both times. I think the first time he did it was Cleveland, and the second time he did it was New Jersey or something like that. So I was traveling both times. I got to pop in for like 20 minutes to watch one of them. But I believe the first time we sold them, we sold like maybe made up numbers. I can't remember, but say we sold 70 out of 100 or 40 out of 50, whatever the numbers were. He hit like all the big ones and people stopped buying because like there was nothing left to chase. So that's like, that adds it to where like you as the seller is almost gambling. These ones though, I didn't make. These ones Fanatic made and then kind of like gave them to us to distribute. In the future though, the theoretical idea is to like the sellers themselves will be able to curate their own. I'll be able to make my own with cards that I have in my vault, all third-party verified, all that stuff. But in a scenario like that, ideally, say I have 100 of them with a $50 value. Ideally, I'd rather sell out in full and then start ripping. If I start ripping and if I have a $10 floor, a $49 average with a $50 price point, and like every card is like $20 except for one that's like thousands. If I open the first one having only sold 5 and it's the big one, well, now I just lost a lot of money, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like the added layer. I'm gonna think on that because I did something.
You're gambling too.
Yes, I did something similar. I auctioned a vending series 3 set, and obviously within that set you have one sheet that has the Pikachu, and I think we sold through like half the sheets before someone got the Pikachu sheet. So like the first sheet sold for whatever, $80. The next sheet went for 90, then 100. And pricing slowly ticked up because your odds of getting the Pikachu sheet were better. But then obviously once that Pikachu sheet got pulled, pricing plummeted back down. But I kind of like that idea. I might I'm gonna think about adding that.
And PK is in here. He says, yes, you can see all cards that are available and that have been hit real time. I don't know. I knew that part. I knew that you could see a checklist of what's been pulled and what's not been pulled. I don't know if it does the calculation for you, PK. Do you know, like, does it show you, say the starting average was 50 and then you pulled the Moonbryon. Does it now adjust the new average down to 30 or 25 or whatever it is? I'm not sure that it does that part, but it definitely shows you the checklist. And yeah, PK pulled the Evolving Skies Moonbryon for somebody. He pulled the Fusion Strike Gengar VMAX, both in PSA 10. And then it just got to where like people weren't going to continue to buy because the biggest things had been hit. But this is a conversation that I think we had months ago, back when I was doing like the box breaks. So on Fanatics, we did base in January. We did jungle in February and so on. And I got lucky. We opened the box on screen. We shuffled the packs. It was all pure, just true chance. But we pulled the Charizard in like the last few packs. We pulled the Blastoise in the last few packs. So even though there's not a guaranteed Charizard in a box, it's like if you pull a Charizard first pack, the rest of your box is going to suffer the auctions when you're auctioning that way. If you pull 6 hollows in a row, mathematically it's possible. It's unlikely, but it's possible. If you pull 6 hollows in a row, your auctioners are going to suffer for the rest of the box. Like you are gambling as the seller when you are doing a box break auction pack by pack like that. We got overall relatively lucky, I would say, because we had some dry streaks early on where it was like the box was getting slightly more juiced. The box was like you're more likely to have a hollow than 1 out of 3 like normal. But that can go the other way too. I forget which box it was, but one of our boxes we had a little bit more hollow heavy in the front, and I think we did a little bit worse because of that. But generally speaking, as the seller, like casinos technically are gambling. Every time you sit down at the blackjack table, not only are you gambling, but the casino is too. They can lose any hand, and they lose a lot of them. But overall, the math is on their side. So long run, they win. They win every long run. They win. They might not win every day. They might not win every hour at every table, but they will always win in the long run. If you're doing it with the math wrong for these mystery products, for these boxes, you could end up creating like a negative EV scenario for yourself as a seller. So you definitely need to keep all that in mind.
Yeah, 100%.
That's one thing. Like that makes me think of the Lord of the Rings, the One Ring. It was surprising how early that got pulled, and to see how well the sealed product has done, even after the 1 of 1 jackpot hit is gone, it's pretty crazy. And some of that is because of the general boom that's going on, and could have been a different story. Appreciate you, Java, for gifting the 10.
Thank you, Java.
Nice to see you in here. I have a couple others starred, but here's one that just came in. Black and white seem pretty high price to me right now with all the other sets out. Do we think it'll come down in the near future? And is it mostly supply driven right now with a small print? What do you think?
I think hey Sally, good to see you. I think it is. I think it's because it's so new, because it's so hot. There's not a ton of supply out there. It's a really good set. I don't think it's anywhere close to the top Scarlet and Violet sets though. Like before we got it, when we knew we were getting it, but before it had come out, I was kind of thinking it'd be like the Crown Zenith of Scarlet and Violet. But now that I've opened a bunch of it and seen the cards and all that stuff, I really don't think it's anywhere close to the Crown Zenith of Scarlet and Violet. So yeah, I think a lot of it is just that initial hype, not a lot of supply being available. I think we will see pricing come down on this stuff. It's Gen 5. Yes, the artwork looks really, really good, but it's Gen 5. Nobody cares. It's there are cards that look really, really good, but there's just so many of them, and a lot of the Pokemon just nobody cares about.
That's how you really feel, Nick. I don't know if it's you lagging a little bit. I think like 2 minutes ago, my StreamYard was showing me the Wi-Fi signal, which I'm not on Wi-Fi. I'm hardwired, but it was showing like I was lagging some, and then a minute ago, I think you were lagging some. But Java says, "Say it louder, Nick." Ripsy says, "Colson cares." Colson, cover your ears. So I think it's like too high. I'm not gonna die on this hill, but I'm gonna stand on this side of the hill and I'm gonna defend it relatively strongly. Black and white, especially Journey Together, especially those sets are extremely likely headed under MSRP at some point in the next 2 years. When and which SKUs, and I don't know exactly, but like I don't think Journey Together. I don't think any set in the history of Pokemon was strong enough to justify never being under MSRP. Monday morning hindsight, I'm correct up through 2024. 2025, we have 3 sets bucking the trend so far. Prismatic, Journey, and Destined. Those are the only 3 sets. Surging, I know we've had that debate a couple times. Like, it had a day, it had a couple hours under MSRP. But so I think it's too high. Anecdotally, I just got, like, it is almost a week after release tomorrow. I just got my White Flare ETBs from one of my distros. I just got them yesterday. They were delayed for whatever reason. I think it was some of the Kentucky. I think Kentucky had some bad weather going on, and I got 44 Black Bull ETBs last Wednesday before release, as I normally do, and then my 44 White Flare ETBs showed up yesterday, or maybe it was Tuesday. But anyways, it was after release. So some of it is like just it's a set that's coming out in waves. There's more products coming out down the line. But yeah, I think it's a sign of the times that we're in. Everyone is a bit too stonky on everything, a bit too FOMO-y on everything. I was paying $8.50 a pack. Before and during release, I was paying $8.50 a pack myself to buy it, to resell it. And now I'm paying $7.50 a pack still this week. I'm
$7.50? Jeez.
I'm probably not taking in new ones
instead.
What do you pay in a pack?
What did I pay? I think I paid $8.50,
I paid
$8.25.
$8.50. I paid $8.50 last week, but this week I'm paying $7.50.
That's
What
only
are you paying right now?
75%. Packs are going for $10.
I think I've got about what I needed though. That's the thing. Like I'm only gonna buy as much as I need. I'm not gonna try to buy that much. Like Journey Together, I want to have like as close to zero as possible. In the past week of Journey, let me see what we sold in the past week of Journey. Probably nearly zero. Last week of Journey, zero. We sold zero Journey in the last week, and PK and Ponga together have almost 3,000 packs of it. I'm going to take a bath on that. I'm going to take a bath on that at some point. I should probably reach out to Ponga and say, like, hey, here's a label for Probstein. Send 4 cases to them or send 8 cases to them. But yeah, Black Bolt, White Flare, I think will be similar. I want to have just barely enough inventory to get by. And then I think in the coming year or two, I don't think we'll be selling as much of it as we are of the right now it's the next set, best set of all time. But like when a new set comes, I think it'll be kind of like Journey. I think it'll wash away to not too many weekly sales of it.
Mm-hmm.
Pokey Chef says, when are we going to combine 3 streaming powerhouses into one multi-platform takeover? I mean, you guys are all only on eBay Live. I'm just going to form my own multi-platform takeover. I'm coming for you guys on eBay Live soon. Nick and I were just talking about that pre-live.
No competition. No competition. I'm not scared anymore.
Don't get too cozy over there because Ketchum's coming.
With your 3 viewer MetaZoo streams.
Yes, and we're also going to try to get like 5, 6 viewer Pokemon streams.
No, there was. I think so obviously Jake went in, Jake, Mason, Chef all went in together. I think if you guys had reached out to me, I would say up until 3 months, 4 months before I moved out to Chicago, I would have instantly said yes and joined you guys. Then when I moved out to Chicago, it would have been something that I seriously thought about, but it would be kind of like a 50-50. But you guys waited way too long. Once Thrifty came, there's no shot. Absolutely.
Too little, too late.
The ship has sailed.
I mean, you don't want to be the Chicago branch of that. I think they're trying to take over the world. I think they're trying to be the next Going Twices, but like bigger, better.
No,
I think they have.
We want a solo OSP Chicago takeover.
I'm very likely to stay KetchumAllCollectibles. The word enough exists for me. I do not have nearly as high of aspirations as some on the other team, for sure. I'm too close to financial independence to have that much drive, to be honest.
I knew that was coming.
3 streaming powerhouses. You got Dan and Nick. Who's the third? Oh man, Walrus going at him. Peek that chew. Question for Nick: if you could clone either yourself or Dan, and their only goal in life is to help expand your business, who would you choose? There we go. Do you want a second set of Nick hands, or do you want Dan and Dan's different perspectives?
It depends. It depends. If I could tweak Dan into wanting more and not being content, then I would take Dan to have because I think we pair well together. Where you're a lot more organized. You know Excel. You know exactly what you're making. Where that's exactly where I struggle. So I think cloning you in a situation where you have the drive that I have would be really good. But if we're cloning you exactly, I think I would clone myself. Just to have double the productivity.
You'll be able to get rid of all your steps tools. I'll be able to reach everything on the top shelf. I mean, for that alone, that's got to tip the scales, right? That's got to tip the scales.
That is true. That is true.
I feel like that's the obvious answer, and that's just that's the cherry on top right there. But no, I know it wasn't posed to me, but asked of me, like, the world does not need two of me. I guess it probably doesn't really need two of Nick either. But New York State doesn't need two of me. I don't think Illinois needs two of Nick. So I think the correct answer for both of us is to take the other person and just like there are a lot of benefits to be had. Everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses. Putting together a team where you're some of your strengths complement the other's weaknesses. Some of like you get benefits from that. So absolutely, that would be my answer, to have a Nick clone, as scary as it sounds.
It is kind of surprising looking back with how long we've been friends. We've never once talked about that, combining forces. It's never even crossed my mind. I don't know.
Like,
I don't know if it crossed your mind having such an all-star on your team, but now everyone is teaming up. It's the cool thing to do nowadays.
I've been saying it for a long time. I don't intend on ever going back on it. I think some people think PK and Ponga are employees, but there is a distinction. It's not just semantics. There is a difference between 1099 and W-2s. I never intend on having W-2s. Further, I don't think I'll ever have like a partner, a full-blown like joint ownership partner. Anecdotally, I just know people, friends, family in real life that have had issues mixing friendships with business ownership and stuff like that. And I hope it goes really well for everybody. But the bigger the team you get, the more personalities you put together, the more likelihood that life happens and things change and a couple years down the line. And I truly, some people don't believe it at all, but like the whole Mexican fisherman thing, I don't have the aspirations. I don't have the drive. Like, so I don't want to be like an anchor to somebody. I don't want to hold somebody back and go into a partnership and they're trying to take over the world and they're trying to make millions of dollars a year and try to like do 7, 8, 9 figures worth of revenue. I'm not doing that. I think where I'm at right now, and I've had this conversation with PK and Pong. I don't know if PK is still listening, but like I don't want to hold them back ever. I'm quite confident though that I'm sourcing enough for them now. I'm sourcing more than enough. I can actually source more than I can buy right now. So there's room for growth. There's still room for growth with what I'm doing right now, but there's not enough room to like team up with this massive thing and like go try to take over the world, because that's just not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get my enough. I'm trying to optimize. And I'm not saying that I'm right and anyone else is wrong. It's just this is what I'm doing. I'm really trying to optimize. Like, I don't want to work more than a 40 or 50 hour week. And some weeks it feels insane. Some weeks it's like, holy crap, I'm at Wildwood, New Jersey, and I'm missing messages and I'm missing emails. And I'm like, there's a lot more money out there for the taking right now. We are booming. It is actually crazy, the opportunities right now that I'm just turning down, that I'm declining. And I'm not saying this like in a stage of regret. I'm just stating facts, and where other people are really putting their head down and plowing for a lot more. I'm getting really close. And I'm just trying to like defend my more than enough. Like, I don't need more. I already have more than enough. And I'm just trying to like defend that and secure that and make that more sustainable for the long term.
Mm-hmm. No, I can see that. I think that makes sense. And I think you have a very different perspective having a family too. I think that adds a whole other element that enough is enough for sure. Because then you want to spend time with your kids and your wife and all that stuff.
Yeah. Java says just work 90 hours a week. You don't need partners. Back in 2014, 2015, I made a video recapping like my 10 years on eBay at the time. I like pre-kids. I put in 100-hour weeks. Absolutely. That's behind me now. I put in my 100-hour weeks. I built more than enough already. I'm just trying to defend what I have mostly. And that's not to say like I'm absolutely trying to make more money. I'm trying to but with limits, with bounds on like how much more active participation that takes. I'm trying to like as much as possible. I'm trying to create opportunities for other people too. And again, like there's just a lot of ways to do that outside of W-2 employment. Like I used Troll and Toad Evo for a couple of years. That wasn't technically employees. That was employees on steroids. That was supercharged employees at less cost with more function. Done the right way, you can actually expand to a crazy level without even getting into employees and stuff like that. And I just having partners is a big step. Having business partners like that intertwined, and I guess that's why I never really pursued it or talked about it with you like that in depth. It's not that I wouldn't trust you. It's not that. It's just like it's a lot more than I'm looking to do. It's a lot more than yeah. But I partnered with Troll and Toad and I got in pretty deep with them. And then look at what happens when they change their mind, when they change their trajectory.
That is true.
That can happen. That can happen with people. With people. You never know. Katie Lowen says there's something to staying in your lane and making amazing money solo / as a small team versus trying to be as big as possible. There's one thing that I hear a lot in business, and I think it's very much a thing. This might get a little... I'll do like an anecdote tied to the former company that I worked at and all that. But one thing that I hear a lot, and I think it's true in certain spaces for certain people, if you're not growing, you're dying. That is so untrue. If you're an S&P 500 company and you've got shareholders and you've got all that going on, that is true. If you're not growing, you're dying. If you're not growing, like you will die as a business. But I've heard people that are like running 6- and 7-figure Pokemon operations say like, if you're not growing, you're dying. That is, I think if you're not adapting, if you're not changing, but you don't need to grow. You need to adapt and you need to change and you need to like stay up on things, but you don't necessarily need to grow. So I push back heavily on the if you're not growing, you're dying with respect to like a small, very small private business. The company that I used to work for, I started back in 2011. I worked till 2021. I've been full-time now. Actually, like I need to look back. What was my first day off work? We are really close. I think it might be 4 years like to the day, right around like today. Because I remember my start date was 7/11/2011. And I put in my 2-week notice like a week before my 10-year anniversary. It's probably just over. It's probably just over 4 years full-time now. But anyways, I started at my company. There were 600 people. And when I left 10 years later, there was 1,000. So like that company was clearly growing a lot. But I remember the owner of our company at like Christmas parties, he talked about how it was very important to him that he would never sell the company. He would never make it go public. There used to be like conversations of would the company ever go public and this and that. And there were just certain things to his being that he didn't like about the thought of that. And he made a promise as long as he was alive. And I remember towards the end, there was another Christmas party where he talked about it. He put it into some kind of a trust where he's like, I don't know how many years I have left, but I did what I could do to ensure for as long as I can that this company will never be sold and go public in that way. Because he didn't fundamentally like what that would have meant, and that he would have had to answer to shareholders instead of answering to his employees. He saw us as the shareholders. And I actually loved the owner of the company and the president of the company at the time that I was there for the first several years. Things changed some of the higher ups changed. And I think the owner, I don't think he ever passed away, but he got quite a bit older and he got like less involved and certain things started changing. Maybe someday they end up being public. And I truly like, I would rather be that. I want to be the very more private, small, I'm going to push off the if you're not growing, you're dying. I'm going to try to just really do right by myself, right by the independent contractors that I'm working alongside. And maybe I'm dumb. Maybe because I'm not growing in the next 5 years, maybe I will die because of it. Maybe the Ketchum All Collectibles will die, but I don't think so. I don't think so whatsoever. I could be wrong.
No, I think I agree with you. I do want to grow more than what I'm at now for sure. But I don't ever want to get massive, if that makes sense.
Let's timestamp it. We're public, live on YouTube right now. There's a date and a time associated with it. What is your enough? Where will Old School Pokemon stop growing? If there is an annual gross, a number of employees, like right now you've got Thrifty and you've got Walrus. So like, what is your enough? Where will it end? And I'll do mine too.
I'm ambitious, so we'll have a store. I'll have 2 people shipping. Walrus will turn into a sorcerer. Me and Thrifty streaming. So 2 people at the store, running the store and shipping. Walrus sourcing, me and Thrifty streaming, add 1 more streamer in there. And I think that's it. So what is that? 3 of us right now, 3 new people, plus a store. Streaming afternoons and nights. So streaming, say, from, say, noon to midnight, to make it easy. Streaming 12 hours a day. The store, 2 people shipping, and 1 new streamer.
Walrus said he doesn't want to be a sorcerer. He wants to be a sorcerer. It's funny. Walrus typed it. Like I was thinking the same thing. I was gonna make some quip about Walrus being a wizard or a sorcerer, but I didn't want to interrupt, and he could type before I could speak. My mind was in the same spot. That's funny. That's interesting though. It'll be interesting to see. And it's impossible to do this, but like if you could go back and ask you 5 years ago, and maybe we did this. Have we ever done this on PokeFlipz? What do you think? Like, we never knew what the boom was gonna do. We never knew like how crazy things were gonna get. But what do you think you would have answered 5 years ago? Do you think you would have answered something similar? Probably wouldn't have even known about live streaming.
Absolutely not.
Do you think it's
five
more or less?
years ago, that would have been 2020. So I did not know.
6 years ago. Say 6 years ago, pre-boom. I guess you weren't full time yet, so that's different.
I was thinking about going full time. I thought it would be around now. Actually, I would be, because I told myself 5-10 years be full time. So I guess now would be the early time frame that I thought I would be full time. But no, I would assume I would still be doing singles on eBay. Streaming was never a thing I thought I would do. Until eBay announced eBay Live, then I wanted to do it. But even when they announced eBay Live, I knew I wanted to get on there. I thought it would all be auctions. I did not think I was going to be a pack ripper whatsoever. And now that's a huge portion of the lives is pack ripping. But yeah, no, it's wild how much has changed. It is crazy to think how much has actually changed. A lot, like even just moving out here. That's a massive change too. I never thought I would move out of Massachusetts, even though it probably had to happen at some point because you just can't afford to live there. But yeah, no, there's so much that's changed, and it's for the most part, it's all been for the better.
Mm-hmm. Sullivan said sorceress of sarcasm with respect to Walrus. But going back to my thoughts on that, in the next 5 to 10 years, actually in the next 5 to 10 months, I think I'm going to get to where, I'm going to get to where I'm going to get to. You never know what opportunities come. Like, eBay Vault happened, and then I really grew like a consignment portion of my business, and then Fanatics Vault happened, and then I've got the CGC thing with that, which I think someone asked a question on, which I'll get to in a minute. But anyways, I think within the next 6 months, I will have 2 more streamers, primarily on eBay Live. Watch out, Old School Pokemon.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
And they'll probably also serve to potentially fill in for voids that PK and Ponga leave. Ponga took off time for New Jersey and something else before that. So Ponga had missed like 3 streams in a row. PK and Ponga are both, along with myself, going to be in Charlotte. So getting somebody to fill in when either of them can't make it to their Fanatics stream. I want to keep Fanatics as filled out as possible. But I don't see 24/7 ever being a thing on Fanatics or eBay Live. But yeah, so my peak will be maybe 5 independent contractors working between the 2 platforms. Sky is already running my TCG player. Sky is already running my eBay. And in a way, it's like, Dan, you said you never have employees. This is less than I had 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I had 20 employees at Troll and Toad. And had that not changed, I would have been doing $10 million a year gross sales through Troll and Toad on the trajectory that I was headed on. So it's I feel like I'm going to end up around where I thought I was going to be 4 or 5 years ago, just in very different ways. If you had asked me 4 or 5 years ago, I forget the exact timing of it. But Nick, which convention was that? Was that Denver? Do you remember all the conversations I had to you about how crazy Troll and Toad Evo was, and some of the conversations I had, and how I wanted to grow? Like,
yeah, I forget where that was. I do remember that though.
I think it might have been Denver Collecticon. I remember specifically one part, like it was a multi-part conversation had across a couple of days of the convention probably, but we were pre-gaming beers in my hotel room before we went to meet up with other people. And I was going over some of that. And actually, you came and you visited at one point. We got breakfast at that diner near me, and we were talking about it that next. So I'm talking about 2 separate conversations, different times. But like one time you visited, and we talked about it then, and then another time it was at a convention. But I had big plans. I had big plans for Troll and Toad, and the main thing was like it could enable me to do what I was best at. I'm pretty good at sourcing. It would allow me to be a sourcer, not a sorcerer, a sourcer. It would allow me to be a sourcer, and they were my fulfillment. They were my. So 5 years ago, I thought it was going to be Troll and Toad Evo, growing into this $10 million of sales a year or whatever, making some percentage off that. But it pivoted a lot. It changed a lot. I adapted. I didn't necessarily grow over what I was forecasted to do already, but I adapted. So had I not adapted, I would have died, certainly. Had I been stuck with like Troll and Toad or bust, well, it's gone now. So that wouldn't have worked. But now I'm just doing it with other businesses. Instead of having employees down in Kentucky, Troll and Toad employees fulfilling my stuff, I have Mr. PokeKnowledge Enterprises Worldwide fulfilling over here, and I have Mr. Ponga Enterprises Worldwide fulfilling over here, and Skya doing the MetaZoo eBay TCG player. So it's similar, but I adapted, and so I'll be ready to adapt in the future. But like I truly don't think my overall gross will significantly go above $10 million a year. This year, it's not going to be too awful far off that. It's higher than I would have guessed, I guess. With a lot of that's consignment. That's not all my own stuff. I'm not all directly responsible for that. A lot of that is.
We need to know the number without consignment. Consignment's a good portion of that.
I do that every year. I mean, last year it was like $3 million, and I think 900,000 was consignments. So it was like a little over 2 was me, and a little under 1 or right around 1 was consignments. This year, it'll be between the live and when I say me, it's like my product fulfilled by Ponga, my product fulfilled by PK. But me will be 3 to 4 million this year, so it will have doubled from last year. And consignments is more than doubling. Consignments might be 4 or 5 million itself. Consignments has grown a lot. And maybe it doesn't quite do that. Maybe the boom stops booming as hard, and maybe that comes down a lot. But yeah, like I said, if you had asked me 5 years ago, I would have said no employees, and I would have said maybe a $5-10 million gross or something. And I feel like I'm right where I would have expected I was going to be, just drastically different. it's a very different makeup from what I thought it was going to be 5 years ago. And
when did you start thinking about going full time? Because I don't think. Were you might have been talking about it when we started PokeFlipz. I feel like you were.
Oh yeah, for sure. But by then, I paid off my house in November of 2020, 1 year after I got my mortgage. So I got this mortgage in December of 19, and I paid it off 1 year later, primarily with evolutions, which was insane. But I did that, paving the way for like, I might quit my job to do this. It had been like in the 10 years as a chemical engineer, it's always in the back of your mind to some extent. It's like I'm doing eBay on the side. It's like, what if this were to ever grow? It was always there to some extent, but it was never that realistic. But then 2020, everything in my possession, 10x, 20x in value, then it became like, hey, if I want to make this happen, it can happen. And given our high savings rates and low expenses and blah, 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 it was easy. It was relatively easy to take the leap. So I'm glad I did it. Hindsight, I wish I did it a little bit sooner. But yeah, I'm very happy that I went for it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's worked out well. And it is a lot more fun.
Yep. But yeah, that was a good question. I forget where it went.
I don't even remember what question it was.
I don't remember either. But anyways, it was maybe it was a question that I asked. Yeah, I think it was a question that I asked based off of just the conversation. But I truly think my enough is sourcing everything I can source in a 40-hour work week, taking the summers very low key, like I am right now, and hitting it harder. If my kids and my wife are at school, I'm gonna be working. I'm not gonna be sitting around doing nothing when my kids and my wife are at school. And my kids are in school, like guaranteed. They can't really leave it. They have to do it. My wife could theoretically leave sooner, but my kids are at school for the next 10 years, 10 to 12 years. So I have 10 to 12 years of like, I'm going to work pretty much a full-time job for the next 10 to 12 years, at least a teacher's full-time schedule. So I need to be doing something during that time, but I'm not going to open an LGS. If a local store was going out of business and the perfect opportunity came up, I can't say that I never would, but like I don't intend to. And the only way I would is if it was entirely wholly run by someone else. I would step in there once a month tops. Like that would be my goal. That would be my intent. But I don't see that happening anytime soon.
That's wild to me. You could be that disconnected. Like I maybe it's because it's so new, but even thrifty streaming, I can't see a time where I don't have the back end pulled up. Always monitoring her just in case she screws up. No, but just to even see like what's doing okay, what's not doing well, how many viewers do we have, all of that type of stuff. I cannot be that disconnected. And same thing with having a shop. I would be in there every single day if I had a shop. I would want people there to run like day-to-day stuff so I can do other stuff. But I would be there all the time for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I enjoy all this stuff, but like I don't want to be tied. Like I don't want to be tied to it. I think I think they're necessary parts of the hobby. Like I think the LGS, I've said it before, like it would not overly surprise me if someday Pokemon went like brick and mortar only, if they took away online, because that stuff is necessary. I'm glad there's the Masons and the Java's got his thing going on now. I'm glad people do it, but it's just not going to be me. It's not going to be me. The only thing would be ownership, very, very passive, trusting somebody else to do all of it. If I was just the capital behind it, basically. But I don't know if this one was a meme question or not, but hey guys, have we discussed MSRP yet? Maybe that's with respect to like some people are talking about it having gone up. Eli and Alex talked about it on their podcast. Eli gets $1 million a month in wholesale Pokemon through his various distributors. he has a couple distributors who are taxing him a little bit more. I think he has some distros that raised the mega sets by $1, $2, $3. He has one that raised them by like $8, but it's not from Pokemon. Rusty, actually, TCA Gaming, he made a video the other day where he said like he saw a price sheet or something that like the distros get or whatever, and the MSRP is not higher as far as I understand. This is not firsthand information from me, but yeah, it's just like distros. Did you pay more on Destined? I paid $100.60 a box for Destined. Back when MSRP was the same, Scarlet Violet base, I was paying $90 to $92. They've been slowly bumping up the prices because they see that we're making a bunch more money. So it's just distros taxing a bit more.
I don't know what I paid on Destined. It was not that expensive. It was a little bit more. Let's see.
Mine went from $95 on Journey to $100.60.
Jesus. When did this go?
5:30.
Why can't I see? There we go. 5:23. Let's see. No, I paid a lot less than you.
I'm getting scammed.
You're getting. I paid $7 less than you.
Is that through the one that we both have?
No, that's for the one I
like. I'm talking about the one that we both have. They charge me more than
I got like 6 boxes through them. So I through them I don't know. I think I paid 102, something like that.
Oh, Journey. Actually, I thought I paid $95 on Journey. I only paid $92.50 on Journey. Through this distro. That's surprising to me. I thought it was $95. But anyways, as far as I understand, MSRP has not gone up. There are a lot of channels. I talk about cosplay, investing channels. There are cosplay informational channels. They get no primary information whatsoever. They regurgitate what they hear other places. And we talked about it earlier. News will be reported on to be the first to get the views, to get the clicks, to incite the FOMO, to create the hype. People don't care. Like, the last thing on their mind is this information accurate? They don't care. And I'm not even thinking about like any one person or channel in particular. It's just like it's an epidemic in the space of 2025. Even in mainstream media, there are reports that come out sometimes, and CNN is racing, Fox News is racing. Like, I'm not even talking politically or anything like that. Everyone is racing everyone else. That like details will just be scrambled because they care more about getting it out first than getting it out accurately. And yeah, that's just a sign of the times.
100%.
Java says, what are your feelings around making big business moves / taking on more risk during a historically up market? I don't care the status of the market. I care more your business status, cash flow, debt to income, debt to inventory. So like it all depends on what your situation is more than the market. Like, is it unreasonable to buy 400 Ancient Muse for $36,000? For many people, yes. For many businesses, yes. Is it a crazy play for me to move in this current time, in this current market? No, not for me. In like knowing my situation, knowing all that. So it's just very like dependent on what your situation is. And like this wouldn't be done on a credit card. This wouldn't be done like if other ducks weren't in a row, basically.
Or if I hadn't told you about it. That's the biggest one.
Well, if it makes me a bunch of money, I'll buy you a beer. If it loses me a bunch of money, I better at least get an IPA out of it. Hey, and to be fair, would you have bought as many more as you bought as quickly as you did had I not told you that I went and I bought a bunch? So you told me about the play and got me in on it, and I got you I got you to 4x what you had done.
I was planning on buying I was thinking around 300 total. But I wanted to wait and see what the condition of the first 100 were that I bought. And if I had waited, I probably would have bought another 100 I don't think I would have bought nearly as much because the first 100 were rough. So I'm
So
hoping the next 300 are better.
We're either pulling each other up to this new height that we'll both like soar, we'll both make a ton of money, or we're like pulling each other up this cliff face that we will both fall off of and go splat on the concrete. We'll find out. But yeah, I appreciate you boosting me up. I ran past you, and then I pulled you right back up to where I was. So we're both in it. We're both in it pretty deep.
Yes.
What's your answer for Java?
I say just YOLO it, Java.
He says a structural change, not a flip.
Talking a structural change.
I would need information. Like, yeah, it's way too vague and unknown to give too much of an answer. But if it's what I'm thinking it is, I would think heavily about it. If it's going full-time Pokemon, which is not what I'm thinking it is. But if it's you going full-time Pokemon, do it, Java. Just do it. I think it's different for you, Dan, because you I'm the same way, Java. Don't have a family, just relying on myself, or just having to take care of myself. And so it's a lot easier to just YOLO it and do it. Worst case, you go back to work. It doesn't work, you go back to work. But I would just go for it. I would just go for it. Yeah, I'll use him as an example because he publicly talked about this every step of the way. But like Cam working for James, when Cam quit his job, and I think it's a since deleted podcast, but he put it out there once. I think Cam would be fine with me sharing this. Cam left like a job where he was stocking shelves at like a store or something. And Colson is also there. Colson left working at Target in a job that was quite replaceable. So one thing you need to consider, and I know vaguely what Java does, but I don't know how replaceable his job is. I'm not going to share other names because Java's the one here talking to us. But I know of other people in the space who are like kind of torn and kind of thinking like, do I take the leap? Do I go full time? Bierski recently publicly went full time, right? And it's like a big factor. I don't care how much you make. I don't care how. Like I care most. How likely is it you get back into your job? If this is a failed experiment after 5 years, 3 years, how bad is that gap in your resume? If you're stocking shelves at Target or whatever, nobody's going to care. You're going to be able to replace that job very easily. If you're, I'm not going to go through every career that's out there, but like depending on your career and how replaceable and I think some people too, like some people think their jobs are way safer than they are. Some people are like, oh my God, you've got this job. And it's like, you work for a company that layoffs happen all the time. I think it's hard to say it too strongly because like some people think jobs are way safer than they are. And some people think the opposite. So there's always an in-between somewhere, but it's dependent on way too many factors. It's way too vague of a thing. It's a very personal decision, but I know, I know that there will be two things. I can guarantee there will be two things. There are people that are full-time today that went full-time, that will go full-time in the next couple of years, that end up back in the workforce for one reason or another. I think oftentimes the grass is greener, and I think a lot of people romanticize what it could be. And so some people will get into it, and then either the boom will stop booming, and financially they'll have to go back to work, or they just won't like it, or they won't be able to do it. So some people will take the leap that shouldn't have, and that will regret it, and will end up going back. And then there will be some people in 2030 working the 9 to 5, whether the boom booms or whether it busts. There will be some people that are like, damn, I really wish I took that leap earlier. I'm more, not drastically, but I'm more in the camp of like, I wish I left a year or two earlier. It would have been breaking some of my rules. I would have had some debt. It would have been more risky. But like in hindsight, it's easy for me to say now. And but I can guarantee there will be some people that wish they left earlier, and some people that wish they never left. But are you going to be on your deathbed in 50 years, 60 years, damn, I can't believe I played it safe my whole life. I can't believe I worked for the man. I worked for someone else and never did my own thing. What if? What if? I won't ask that question. I took the leap. I went for it. So yeah, consider all those factors and then make the big decision.
Yeah.
There's a
you
lot
put
there
that
though.
in a good way.
There's a lot there. There's a lot to very, very big life decisions. So yeah, Java, I'm sure you have a lot to chew on already, but there's even more. There's even more for chewing on. Peak That True says question for Dan.
Thanks, Peak.
He's like that Nick guy. He's definitely not using AI to help scale maintain. Any ideas around the agentic AI agents coming in August that you've thought about? I'm not as. It's one of those things. I use AI a lot more than some people who don't use it at all, but I'm not using it as in depth as you. I forget which podcast it was, Peak That Chew, but you were talking about creating like AI employees that would be like your, you'd like consult with your AI employees and like you're my AI whatever chief of operations, and I'm not doing anything crazy like that. I'm using AI to go above and beyond my expertise in Google Sheets. And I have a lot of sheets that I used to have to update very manually, that I just dump a CSV. I dump a CSV of my eBay reports, and it tells me what I have to pay Skya in commission. I dump a CSV of my Fanatics live reports, and it tells me what I need to pay Panga and PK. Not quite. There's still some things I have to fix there, but Fanatics Collect similarly. So a lot of my things are like improvements to my back end reporting, and I'll do the same thing with my taxes. I've already started some of it, but a lot of automation being done. I'm sure there's a lot more I could do that I'm not doing though. What about you, Nick?
Honestly, I've never used it. I have
You gotta
no
get in
idea.
there.
I don't know. I'm a boomer when it comes to that. So I guess Peak, that was an acceptable question for Dan.
Waxy Pack says Nick the eBay goat.
Waxy Packs, I appreciate it.
Appreciate the $4.99.
You're not going to be getting any $5 donations saying KetchumAllCollectibles the eBay goat.
The Fanatics go. I don't have. I'm not the streamer on the front lines pumping it. So PK and Panga probably aren't pumping PokeFlipz too hard. Let's see. People don't realize cards eventually become just inventory and revenue when you're doing it all the time. Waking up loving sorting bulk is only enjoyed by the unicorns like Nick. There's definitely something to be said about like when it's the side hustle, when it's the potential escape. People can really romanticize things when it's like theoretical, but if you quit your job and you start doing Pokemon full time, like it's a job. It's a job, and there's a lot of people who like very successfully are double dipping, maybe even triple dipping, doing their full time job, doing some amount of Pokemon on the clock, and if and when you leave, like you're losing potentially health insurance and you're losing the 401k matches, and now it's like you can't just goof off for an afternoon watching PokeFlipz and still get that same paycheck. You actually have to go out and generate that paycheck for yourself, right? Like I would wager a guess that there are 72 people in here. Some amount of those people might have eBay open. Some amount of those people might have Fanatics open. They might have Buy open, and they're probably on the clock and they're probably getting paid double dipping, making money, getting entertained in Pokemon while being on the clock for another job. And when that goes away,
over or under 50%?
Over 50%. I would say over 50% of people in here now. Would people answer honestly in a poll? Probably not. It's probably not even worth doing because they probably wouldn't answer. But I would guess that approximately 50%, slightly over, are probably double dipping right now, and that goes away. And if I go to Wildwood, New Jersey for a week, I was still making money because I have Java consigning my packs in his shop in North Carolina. I have Sky doing eBay and TCG Player. But like if I didn't keep that fed, that wouldn't be happening. And that's things that I've set up. And but yeah, I think a lot of people get really cozy and comfortable in the having somebody else automatically deposit stuff every Friday, every 15th and every 30th of the month. And that's entirely fine too. That's entirely fine. I did that one. Dan, can you go over the CGC 50 card minimum graded thing? Is the grading fee baked in? So a quick shout out to my Fanatics CGC consignment operation that I run. Cards curate.
While you talk about this, I will be right back.
Okay, so sponsored segment for KetchumAllCollectibles here. If anyone's interested, I can grade through CGC. I can grade your cards. They have to be sold. Once they're graded with CGC, they have to be sold on Fanatics. There are multiple people in here in the chat who are probably not happy with me for doing this little ad read right here, right now. But $7.50 a card. I front the grading fees. So you have to send at least 50 cards, no more than 100. If you want to send 1,000 cards, you just need to get 10 submission numbers from me. You send me tracking for the package. You send me the quantity of cards you're sending. I return to you a submission number. You put the submission number inside the package. You ship it to my Fanatics vault. And your cards get graded. They curate now in under a month. $7.50 bulk CGC grading. I have people grading Masaki promos. I have people grading Destined Rivals hits. I have people grading 50-cent ARs. I have people grading everything, myself included. Gray felt hats. You hit a CGC pristine gray felt hat and sell it for over $1,000. The grading fee is only $7.50, and it's graded in under a month generally right now. That could be subject to change if they get slammed with a big backlog. But and you net out my regular consigning rates. So the one exception to my regular consigning rates, let me pull it up on screen quick. The one exception is where the hell is my OBS? Oh, I'm looking right at my OBS. I moved my StreamYard away and I thought I was still looking at StreamYard. But right here are my fees. So above 120, these are the fee structures for if you can sign with me CGC Fanatics. But under 120, that pesky $5 surcharge, it goes away entirely. So there's no surcharge on the under $120 slabs if you are grading them raw with me. And nice thing about it, you don't have to enter them into CGC. You send them raw. You don't even have to use card savers. I don't use card savers. I send 100 cards a clip. They're in penny sleeves, and CGC enters them. Fanatics actually has a full-time CGC grader at Fanatics. So they get graded within a month. I front the grading fee. I pay your $750 grading fee up front, and I pay you out when the cards sell. So I'm being very successful with that as we speak. I've been doing it on the down low for a few months, and I have a couple dozen very happy consigners. And I'm not like I'm telling 70 people about it right now. I'm not pushing it like crazy, but I also do talk about it in my live streams when I'm asked about it. But yeah, that's there if people are interested. Feel free to shoot me a DM, Discord, email, Instagram, whatever. Hopefully that covered everything. Fat Belly wants to know, what if PK or Ponga buy their own packs that you don't supply? Are they able to break them on your Fanatics, or are they not allowed and can only stream what you send them? We have arrangements where they've both sold their own stuff, but I don't know that it's useful to the stream for me to detail our arrangements that in depth. Most of what they sell, 99% of what they sell is mine, but we do have arrangements where sometimes they just sell to me. I pay the hot buy list price, or I pay slightly more than that because I don't have to receive the package and forward it to PKR Ponga. But yeah, that covers that. M. Sullivan says, do you think there will ever be another boom like 2020? I think multiple people, Nick included, said like right now. I think right now is bigger. The reasons that this boom is bigger are 2020. There was like legitimate reasons that logistically the world like changed. Things shut down. Seaports were like a lot of things shut down. PSA shut down. Right now, PSA is pumping out an unprecedented amount of plastic, and Gray Felt Hat is still doing what it's doing. And Pokemon, they printed slightly less this past year than the year prior, but they're printing unprecedented amounts. I can almost guarantee they're probably going to print more in August of 2025 than they have in any month prior in history. I'm quite confident the 2025 number will be higher than last year's number one, was higher than 2 years ago. So in spite of all that, Paldea Evolved is a $400 booster box. Evolving Skies is $2,000. Gold Stars, base set first edition, doing record numbers. Like, we are booming harder than we ever had. PSA 10 Jungle Eevee is not $1,000 like it was, but it might head there again. It's going up a lot. I don't know what it's at right now. Probably $500 or $600 if I had to guess.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to add on that? What do you think about this boom relative to the last one?
This one lasted a heck of a lot longer than the last one too. Last one, you started to notice it over the summer, and then it really picked up in August, September, and then by November it was done. And then obviously you had it didn't completely crash, but it was a lot shorter of a time frame than this one.
Java says first rule about CGC fanatics is not talking about CGC fanatics.
Yeah.
Zach's Hobby Nook says, does it have to be only Pokemon or any TCG for your service? Not only does it not have to be Pokemon, it doesn't have to be TCG. Sports is accepted. I don't do a lot of it. Like, I don't think, I mean, I guess you're getting it cheaper than you would get it on your own platform. Basically, like, anyone can do that on their own Fanatics for $9 a card. I'm doing it for you for $7.50 a card. And then not advocating for anything, but you don't get a $10.99. The $10.99 comes in my name and not yours. You can be paid PayPal, friends and family, Zelle, all those good things. But yeah, I have some people sending Dragon Ball Z. Would not recommend based off the early results. I have some people sending Yu-Gi-Oh. Pokemon does well. I've done Metazu myself. And it didn't do what my buy it nows are listed for, but it did like reasonable. It made money, and I'm gonna send more Metazu. So it's working well. But yeah, feel free to reach out. UAP says, how does that work with tariffs? If you declare, which again, I'm not advocating you declare things under what they're actually worth, but if you declare what it's worth and it's worth over the de minimis $850, $900, whatever it is, there will be tariffs. There will be import duties. You will be responsible in addition to the consignment fees. But if you ship things that are valued under the de minimis, you don't pay tariffs on the. I'm the one paying the grading fees, so there's no tariffs with respect to that. A lot of what some people are grading is like they send 100 cards. There's not $1,000 worth of cards value there. A lot of times it's only $500 worth of card value or something like that. A lot of it, some people are doing very cheap things and doing really well. Some people are doing more mid and high level stuff, and yeah, all over the place. Timmy's got a big one here. If you were running a statistical model, this sounds very up your alley, Nick. Big spreadsheet AI guy.
Only you. Let me grab my pillow real quick.
If you were running a statistical model to predict booster box or ETB prices long term, what variables would make the strongest predictors? Highest single value of a pack, high PSA 10 chase, pull rate. What do you think, Nick? So taking away the statistical model, but like
what you like, invest in what you like, what you enjoy. That's
I like what makes money.
No, you don't. No, the best things I've done well with is stuff that I enjoy. Celebrations packs. That's my biggest thing. I loved celebrations. That was my favorite set of all time. So I bought a ton of celebrations packs. It did not do well for a very long time until just recently, but now it's doing really well. Crown Zenith 151. Stuff that I genuinely enjoy is what I'll set back. Stuff that obviously if you sell stuff on eBay, TCG Player, live streaming, stuff that does well for you in the streams is stuff that's going to do well. I've never been one to look at all this data, crunch all these numbers, all that stuff. It's always by feel for me.
I don't do that kind of thing a lot anymore either. I used to do it more in my earlier days. And shout out to like Pika Papa. If that's your thing and you want a bunch of cool spreadsheets, and there's a lot of guys doing that. Anon does a lot of things about set value and this and that. I think set value matters. I think the highest single, like But when people open a pack, they want to know what's the ceiling. Prismatic having God packs where you can open $4,000 worth of cards, that matters. So does that matter more than the pull rates? Does that matter more? Like, I don't know. I think the highest single value you can get from a pack, like the Mega Millions. The Mega Millions, your odds are infinitesimally small. The EV is inherently negative. Until you get to like, once you get to obscene, it actually can almost be slightly plus EV, but that's a whole different conversation. But anyways, I think the ceiling on what one pack could be worth is what matters the most. I think people all have a little bit of gambler in them, and they like to know, like, when I had my son a pack. My son just recently had a birthday, and I gave him an Evolving Skies pack. I gave him every pack that he opened. He's like, "What can I get out of this? What can I get out of this?" And it's like, "Oh, Silver Tempest, you can get the Lugia V. What's that worth?" What? And like he wants to know. Like people want that. That matters. So I would say that's the most important, and then other things I can't really rank them all, but that's my thoughts on that. Is the whole pod about trading cards? Yes. No chess conversations in here.
I was just gonna say there's no chess talk. You'd hate it here.
Oh man. So for Nick's strongest predictor is his emotions. Got it.
Yes, exactly.
Zach's Hobby Nook says, for me, I look at pack opening experience, good chase, and some playability mixed with iconic Pokemon mixed for a good hold set.
I like it.
Waxy Pack says, any love for Chinese Simplified 151? I'm gonna try to get some. Does that come out tomorrow?
I think it's either coming out very soon or it just came out. I don't know exactly.
I talked to Retro about whenever he gets it, if he carries it, I want to get some. I do want to go back. I'm chasing now. I should have got in earlier. Hindsight obvious. Gem Pack 1, Gem Pack 2, I never touched. PK and Ponga told me, like, people are asking about it in stream. So I want to go back and get a little bit Gem Pack 1, Gem Pack 2, but I want to get more of the new one because, like, newest set, best set of all time. That applies for Chinese too.
That the Gengar in the Chinese set is wild. I love the gem boxes. The gem boxes are a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun to open. It even if you don't get one of like the Evolution ARs, it feels like you got something good. So I really like those. The 151, people do want those, so I will get them at some point, but I really don't like them as like a sealed product opening experience. It feels so bad. I don't know if it's changed. I haven't looked into it much, but I got the first 151 set. And I never ordered more. Because it just feels bad. You're getting one full art. You're not guaranteed a Master Ball in the box. And then you'll get like 2 double rares. It just does not feel good opening those boxes. Obviously, you're chasing a card that's worth a ton of money, but I did not like it. I did not enjoy it. Whereas the gem boxes, you definitely need to get those. Because those are a lot of fun to open.
I see that. Yeah, the Gengachu apparently. Julia Waxy Packs are calling it. I see it's going for thousands raw. Crazy. I like I said, I plan on adding it to the streams. I'm not necessarily gonna go all in on it. I'm probably not gonna add it to the palettes anytime soon, but if and when that changes, if and when I do add some to the palette, I'll let people know. But as of right now, it's like I'm gonna add it to just make margin on it, retail it. I think generally, if and when the market goes down, I think foreign languages get hurt a fair bit worse. I think sometimes foreign languages are definitely used as like a replacement for English and Japanese product that's more expensive. But in this scenario, like some of these are unique arts, which is nice. I think that's a lot better than non-unique arts. But I say that, and like I sold some Korean evolutions a couple years ago. Man, that set was that outperformed English evolutions. It was actually insane what I sold those boxes for. It was bless this hobby.
Oh, speaking of, did you buy any of the Ditto Laprases? Those are wild.
I didn't buy a single one. I looked at them and I'm like, it was almost like the first pass gray felt hat. I was aware gray felt hat existed, and I thought about them, and I looked at the prices, like, this will get cheaper. I'll buy 1,000 of them when it halves in price. And then what's a sealed the Ditto thing right now?
They're like $130 now.
I think I passed on them at like, were they 40 or 50? I want to say.
I think the lowest was the lowest I got was 32, and then I bought more at 45.
It's like those Chinese 5th anniversary promos. I bought like a decent amount of them. I bought like 50, and I was gonna buy more, and then I just sold them all because they went kind of crazy, and now they're like even crazier. It's we're booming. We are booming like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. Spat says hi. Java says Spat, I'm sorry.
Oh God, what happened? What happened? Do tell.
Oh man. Thoughts on Hoppip collectors when all Pikachus go to 5 figures in 3 years? He's preemptively apologizing. It's funny. Yesterday, I do my office hours on Wednesdays, and Spat was in office hours. Java was in office hours yesterday in the Patreon, the Discord call, and usually, like every other office hour, somebody will accidentally unmute and not realize they're unmuted. A lot of them are double dipping. A lot of them are like on the phone with the regular job or whatever. And at one point, Spat unmuted and he just like yelled something, and it's like, oh man. I don't know the full context. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was funny. Julia was there as well. But yeah, we are at 3:52 p.m. I kind of want to wrap up by like 4 p.m. I'm probably gonna go give a hand demoing my deck so that I can put a new deck on in the coming weeks. But if anyone has any final questions, feel free to leave them in chat. You got any other conversations to have? Anything else you want to get off your chest?
No. Oh, if anyone's going to the National, I will be there. Let me know. I don't know if anyone goes, but since I'm so close, we're gonna go Wednesday and Sunday, I believe. So if anyone else is gonna be there, let me know.
On that point, I strongly don't think I will, but I did just have an email before we went live. I had an email of one of my reps that like I feel like I want to go. I want to go.
What? Are we going to see you in Chicago?
I don't think so. I feel like it's a 2% chance, but maybe it's a 10% chance. I don't know. I need to follow up on this email conversation, but he's proposing an in-person conversation on certain things that would really benefit me running the consignment operation in like the back end of Fanatics Collect. So if I think that like me going could really get me what I have been asking for a while, it would be worthwhile going. If it's like no shot that that's actually going to happen, then I probably wouldn't go. But if I did, it would probably be like 8 in the morning out at night. It would be like a spat going to a Collecticon. But yeah. Aside from the National, though, like obviously we're both going to Charlotte Collecticon. So if anyone's going to be at Charlotte Collecticon in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from today, we're leaving for that, which is crazy.
We're not going to do flips that week.
We do need to figure that out. Do you want to just do it on Wednesday? We could do it on
Wednesday would probably work. Yeah, Wednesday would probably work.
We'll have to talk to make sure. I feel like there was another. Oh, so it doesn't work for Charlotte, and then it also doesn't work 2 weeks later. because I'm going to be on a trip for my anniversary. So maybe we just stagger it a week.
No, let's do that. Let's do that. That'll be better.
Because it also hits Card Party Seattle weekend. I don't know if you're going to that or not, but
I gotta book everything for that. But yes, I do want to go to that one. I will be there.
Oh, you're going to Card Party Seattle?
Yeah.
Isn't that like a week before? It is a week before Chicago CollectCon.
Yeah.
But
I
guess
Chicago though. Chicago's
I
easy.
know that won't be a big deal for you. Moving it 1 week would put it the weekend of Chicago CollectCon, but for you that's not a big deal because like you're just driving to it anyways.
Yeah.
Zach says, "What's the best way to reach out to you, Nick? I live in Chicago and hoping to catch you at one of these shows locally."
Instagram's the easiest if you have Instagram. Otherwise, email. I guess that's about Discord. Maybe if you want to wait a few days for a response.
We've got Mr. Cardinal Pokenomics Jake in here himself.
Hey Jake,
excited for PokeFlipz.
I can't wait to see you in Charlotte, Jake. I'm excited.
I got to see him in New Jersey, and we got to have a lot of back and forth on the streaming operations. Maybe someday Jake will come on and kind of spill the beans on some of what he's doing. But I don't know if he wants to be as transparent as we are with some stuff. We'll see. Do it live, cowards. 10 IPAs deep. Java's gonna be at Card Party Seattle. That's exciting. Timmy wants to know how close will CGC Pristines ever get to BGS Black Label? 50%, 30%. A lot of people want to know like what percent of a PSA 10 is a PSA 9. There are certain cards where a PSA 10 is 100 times a PSA 9, or maybe 50 times. And there are some cards where it's like 2 times. And the same will always apply. Black Label, like BGS Black Labels, sometimes are 100 times PSA 10s, sometimes they're 10 times PSA 10s, sometimes they're 2 times PSA 10s. There will never be a specific amount, but on average, I don't even know what they would be on average.
I think it'd be a fraction of what a Black Label is, just because of how much harder Black Labels are to get than Pristines. I think it'd be like 10%, 10, maybe 20.
I'm trying to think. Let me see.
Just for myself, I've always valued Pristines like double PSA 10s.
This one's actually crazy. So I sold a Black Label Ancient Mew, of which I hope to replicate. I don't know if you're gonna go for BGS with any of yours.
I'm not telling you.
I'm gonna send some. You're crazy if you don't send some, in my opinion. But I sold a BGS 10 Black Label in May of 2025 for I see the hammer on the back end. It's annoying. $19,800. I sold 2 months later. Feels like we're booming more. A CGC 10, not a pristine, a perfect. Maybe that was worse. But I sold a CGC 10 perfect. 1 of 11. There can never be more because they don't even grade that anymore. What do you think the perfect went for if the Black Label went for $19,800?
I want to say it was 2,000-ish because I was watching that one.
It was 1,470, and that was a perfect.
I thought it was. But it wasn't a perfect because I was originally going to bid on that one.
Yeah.
The centering was atrocious on it. It was so bad.
Nick, the label says perfect.
I don't know if you were selling the pristines, but they were like
the label said perfect.
No.
Close your eyes and buy.
I am much happier paying $1,000 for my pristine than I would have been paying $1,400 for the perfect. And I actually wanted the perfect. If the centering was good, I would have won that one. But I went for the pristine instead.
And just to demonstrate, let me share my screen one last time for today's podcast. Just to demonstrate, like, I understand the sentiment. I understand why people ask this question, but this is why that can never be a thing. The more like PSA 10s are more fungible than CGC Pristines or BGS 10s or BGS Black Labels because they sell way more. BGS Black Labels and CGC Pristines are inherently like wider varying in their prices just because they have less of them, less comps of them. They vary more. Look at the CGC 10 pristine sales history on eBay. So I told you I sold the perfect for like not much more than these pristines went for. Here's a buy it now a couple days ago for $1,575. Here's one for $1,800. Maybe it was the best offer. I don't know. eBay sucks for not showing us. You have to go to 130 point. I'm not going to do that right now. Probstein $825. Probstein $989. So like the variance in this is just in pristine. This is not talking about comparing between two different companies, two different grades. The variance within one grade is greater than 30 to 50%. So like we can't have a correlation between like PSA 9 is this, so PSA 10 is 5 times that, and pristine is 2 times that, and black label is 5 times that. It never has been a thing. It never will be a thing. It is impossible. Stop trying to make fetch happen. Stop trying to make these conversion factors happen. They just can't. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Let's see where we're at. A big difference in 8% gem rate and on 80%. If you guys ever invited me on, maybe I would come. Been trying to get an invitation for years, but Dan doesn't return my messages. Oh, man. Jake, we actually have to talk. Speaking about not returning messages, I was planning on sending you a message today. Jake, we're doing the Zoom call this weekend, right? We've got to arrange that, get that scheduled, get the link sent out. Consider this the message that I was going to send to you that you probably wouldn't have replied to very quickly. True, he says, let's have you on and then never ask. Lately, like we're not scheduled out far. Lately, we get to where like it's 2 days before the podcast and we ask one of the 12 people that we're thinking about having on sometime soon. So be sure to check your messages on Wednesday, the day before PokeFlipz. That's been our MO lately. But we just crossed 4 p.m. I think with that, we're going to call it. Appreciate everyone being here. We had Jake on before, right? We've had Jake and Java on.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
Jake was right before one of the CollectCons.
Yeah. My memory's terrible. But I'm sure we'll have them both on again at some point. They both have, if they'll share, they both have a lot of exciting stuff to share. Sounds like maybe even more than we realize. Wink, wink, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, with that, what do you got going on this weekend? Any live stream to shout out? Go catch PK on Friday, Saturday night. Go catch Ponga on Sunday night for my fanatics.
I'll be Friday, Saturday night. Thrifty will be Sunday. And then we're actually vending a local show on Sunday. I forget the name of it or where it is. But yeah, come see us at some unknown local show.
Well, definitely find your DM from Zach so that you can potentially meet up with him and say hi. Be sure you do that.
Yes.
But yeah, as always, we appreciate you all watching. We will catch you all later.
Bye.